All right, so we give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shammai in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. We'll pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that come from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there is one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise the Abba and Shamaim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. Shalom, Mika. Shalom, Sister Virginia. Let's hit this 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 11. Nope, 12, I'm sorry. Looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of Elohim, wherein Shamaim being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to its promise, look for new Shamaim and a new Arats, wherein to our righteousness. Wherefore, beloved, seeing that you look for such things, be diligent, that you may be found of him in shalom, without spot and blameless, and account the long suffering of our Lord as salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul, also according to the wisdom given unto him, have written unto you. Also in all epistles, peace, brother, on my mind, speaking in them these things, which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable rest, also the other scriptures, unto their own destruction. So, come over here to Romans 9. Romans 9. Romans 9. Romans 9. Shalom, Jay. Romans 9 and 21.
Say, have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? If Elohim willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endure with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction.
Paul. Now, he's talking about something else, but we're going to look at something else. I want you to come to Jeremiah 16, I believe. And we're just talking about the potter having power over the clay. One, 2, 24. Mama. 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 Jeremiah 18, actually. 18 and 1.
Yeah, I know.
Jeremiah 18 and 1.
The word which came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah saying, arise, go down to the potter's house.
Go down where?
To the potter's house.
Go ahead and tell them what potter's house is. You heard TDJ step down from the potter house.
Potter is Yasar, the form fashioned to frame.
So go down to the bottom of him that form and fashion.
And behold, he wrought a work.
Genesis 1 and 26.
And Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, over every creeping thing that creep upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him, male and female created he them.
Get make and get create.
Make is asa, to do, to fashion, to accomplish, to make, to produce.
There it is. Go ahead. Now I mentioned this here because I want you to see him at the original potter's house. Go ahead.
They created as bara, to create, shape, or form, fashion.
Let's just not go to Genesis 2 and 7 because we got to go to the original potter's house.
And Yahuwah Elohim formed man, the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
He formed him from where?
The dust of the ground.
Tell him what formed is, man, in the original potter's house.
That's your sorrow again.
That same word that was in Jeremiah. The original potter's house. Shalom, Brother Marvin, man. Come on back to Jeremiah 18:1. And what we're looking at is does he have the potter have power over the clay? You understand? That's what he mentioned. And we'll back that up in a couple of verses in that Romans 9 with the vessels of mercy and the vessels of wrath, and delineated such to tie back to what we were talking about in Exodus 9 about I raised you up for this specific purpose to make my power known in you. Come on, Jeremiah 18:1, man.
The word which came to Jeremiah from Yahuwah saying, arise and go down to the potter's house.
And there
I will cause you to hear my words.
Then
I went down to the potter's house.
And behold,
he wrought a work on the wheels.
Paul, tell him what that work is, man. I know you know the word. Just bear with me.
Malakah, occupation, work, business.
What's happening, Tavon, man? You know what I'm saying? Went down there with a little work, man. A little occupation, a little business on the wheels. Verse 4, Jeremiah 18. What happening with it, man?
And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter.
The vessel that he made of clay was what?
Marred.
It was what?
Marred.
So he did what?
So he made it again another vessel.
He did what?
Made it again another vessel.
Shalom, Brother Robert and Ernest, man. Come on, tell him what marred is, man.
That's shakah, to destroy, corrupt, to go to ruin, to decay, to be marred, to be spoiled, to be corrupted.
To be corrupted. So the vessel he made of the clay was corrupted in the hand of him that fashioned it. Well, how was it corrupted? So he said he made him a what?
Made it again another vessel that seemed good to the potter to make.
That seemed good as the who to make?
To the potter.
Do this for me. Go to Revelation chapter 17. Shalom, Hobby, man. 17 and what that called? Man, just tell me what verse 7 say. We work our way to it.
And the Malachim said unto me, wherefore did you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carry her, which have the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that you saw was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. And they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. Not
written in the Lamb's book from the what?
Foundation of the world.
And the Lamb was slain from when, Civic?
Foundation of the world.
So why are we mentioning that? Go back to verse 4, Jeremiah 18, man.
And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand.
Now pause. Now get vessel. How did we just mention something with vessel? No. Different conversation. My apologies.
That's Kelly, article, vessel, implement, utensil, object.
Take this vessel. Take this object that's made of what?
Clay.
Tell them what clay is, man. I know y'all know what clay is.
That's commerce, cement, mortar, clay, mire.
Now, with that being said, when you take this mire or this dust of the ground from Genesis chapter 2, he said it was marred, it was decayed, it was corruptible. Go to Ezekiel 28. Give me verse 14. Make it 13. Matter of fact, 14 is good. Go ahead.
You, the anointed cherub that cover, and I have set you so. You was upon the Kadash mountain of Elohim. You have walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire.
And you were what?
Perfect in your ways from the day that you was created till iniquity was found.
You was perfect in your what?
In your ways.
To the day that you was what?
Created.
Don't tell them what created is right there, man. See if you get the same thing again.
Barah. Create, shape,
to form the fashion. Now tell them what perfect is there, man. You know, ways is the rock, that's manner of life.
It's Tamim, whole, tired.
So you were whole in your way of life from the day that you were formed and fashioned till what was found in you?
Iniquity.
Now come on back and read verse 4 of Jeremiah 18 again.
And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter.
So now it's been corrupted. How was he marred in the hand of the potter? Well, let's go to Genesis chapter 3. Going to Genesis chapter 3. Pick this up in you can pick it up at verse 7. We'll move around. What we're going to look at is a delineation between vessels for wrath and vessels for mercy. Contrasting Adam, the first and second Adam, as it's mentioned in Romans 9. In this instance, the wrath is death, but not necessarily like him going to hell, if you would. That's not the point that we're trying to elucidate on. Go ahead.
And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together.
They did what?
Sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons.
Mm.
And they heard the voice of Yahuwah Elohim walking in the garden in the cool of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahuwah Elohim amongst the trees of the garden.
Mm-hmm.
Yahuwah Elohim called unto Adam and said unto him,
What did he say?
Where are you? He said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself.
Mm.
He said, who told you that you were naked?
Mm.
Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you that you should not eat?
Now pause. Now you know he cursed him to die. This is how you can see that he's marred in the hand of his of the potter, or him that fashioned him, because now he's been made corruptible. We're gonna hear it for yourself just in case. Genesis 3:17.
And unto Adam he said, because you have hearkened unto the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree which I commanded you, saying, you should not eat of it.
You should not what?
You shall not eat of it.
What gonna happen?
Curse is the ground for your sake, and sorrow shall you eat of it all the days of your life.
All the days of your life.
Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to you, and you shall eat the herb of the field.
Herb.
And the sweat of your face shall you eat bread till you return unto the ground.
For dust.
For out of it was you taken, for dust you are, and unto dust shall you return.
Now, come back and read Jeremiah 18:4 again. I just want you to catch the shalom is, man. The standpoint of the vessel of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. You know what I'm talking about? Now we're going to look at the second half of this verse. And we're probably going to take this one verse and try to knock out 2 to 3 different epistle letters at the same time. Go ahead.
And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter, so he made it again, another vessel.
So he did what?
He made it again, another vessel.
He made another one? As it what?
As it seemed good to the potter to make.
Now tell him, made, good, make. Made.
That's Asa again.
So that's the work to fashion, to do. He put in some work, and now you got good.
Good is Yashar.
Make it straight. Make it upright. So notice, not told, not necessarily that which is pleasant, but that which is straight, that which is upright. Now pause. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 37. Now you can get a good, strong understanding of what he's saying in this passage. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 37.
And that which you sow not that body that shall be, but bear grain, it may chance of wheat or some other.
Mm-hmm.
But Elohim giveth a body as it hath pleased him, and to every seed his own body.
Every what?
Every seed his own body.
What else?
All flesh, not the same flesh, but one of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. Also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial.
Pause. Now you can sit back and you can see one was marred in the hand of the potter, so he made another one straight and upright as it pleased him. Go ahead.
But the esteem of the celestial one and the esteem of the terrestrial another. One esteem of the sun, another esteem of the moon, another esteem of the stars. For one star differeth from another star in esteem. So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in esteem. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power.
Do you see the difference going on to what you read in verse 4 of Jeremiah 18?
It is sown in natural body, it is raised in spiritual body.
You see how one was marred and one is made corruptible and the other one is made straight and upright. Go ahead.
There's a natural body and there's a spiritual body. And so it is written, the first man Adam was made a living soul. The last Adam a quickening ruach.
Romans chapter 5. Verse 10. Nah, make it 12. Booper. Come on.
Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world.
Hold on. So this one here is marred. It's corruptible. Paul, let's deal with what corruption is. Psalm 16 and 7 on general principle. Dwayne Jamal.
Say, I'll Baruch Yahuwah, who have given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night season.
Peace, brother Nate, man.
I have set Yahuwah always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be moved.
Not moved.
Therefore, my heart is glad, and my esteem rejoice. My flesh also shall rest in hope.
My flesh rests in what?
In hope.
Tell them what hope is, man. Is it tikva? Is it betop? Which one is it?
The top.
That's some strength. That's some confidence. My flesh rests in confidence. Why is it confident?
For you will not leave my soul in hell.
You won't leave my soul in Sheol.
Neither will you suffer your Kadash one to see corruption.
But tell them what corruption is, man.
Shakav, pit, destruction, grave.
You won't leave me in the grave. You won't leave me marred and in the grave. Come on. Come on back to Romans 5 and 12.
Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world.
Now pause just to add this in. The epistle of James, chapter 1, and verse 12.
Baruch is the man that endured temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life.
You shall receive what?
The crown of life.
Why?
Which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of Elohim.
Why?
For Elohim cannot be tempted with evil.
Nor
tempt he any man.
Go ahead.
But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust hath conceived, it bring forth sin.
And sin?
When it is finished, bring forth death.
Which is going to bring forth what, Sid?
Death.
Corruption. Mean you're marred, you're corruptible. That's what sin brings. That's what he said. Well, let's read 1 John 3 and 5 on general principle.
And you know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin.
He was manifested to do what?
Take away our sins.
So that means he was manifested to take away corruption. Go ahead.
Whosoever abide in him sin not. Whosoever sin have not seen him, neither known him. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that do righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous.
That's good, man. Romans 5 and 12.
Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin. And so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned.
So this is get to the point of the marred. So he made another one, correct? Continue.
For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no.
And y'all know that because before he ate from the tree of life, tree of knowledge and good and evil, there was no sin. Because there was no law. Peace, Brother Joseph, man. And why wasn't any law? Because he was perfect in his ways. He was whole, he was complete. Because the law is not made for a righteous man, but for sinners. Continue.
And nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses.
Even
over them that had not sinned after the similitude of Adam.
Who is the figure
of him that was.
See how he say he made one vessel that was marred, but he made another one that was straight and upright. Go ahead, keep it rolling.
But not as the offense, so also the free gift.
For through
the offense of one, many be dead.
Much more.
The grace of Elohim and the gift by grace.
By
one man,
Yahushua,
Mashiach, have abounded unto many.
And not
as it was by one that sinned, so was the gift.
For the judgment.
By one to condemnation.
But the free gift.
Of many offenses of justification.
Now what does this mean? You're looking for Jeremiah 18 and 4. Because one man was marred, or the one vessel was marred, everybody's corruptible because of that marred vessel. So I'm going to make another vessel that's straight and upright. That's why I said, little children, you are righteous even as he is righteous. Don't let nobody lie to you, because if the next vessel is made straight, then all the vessels in it are straight. Luke 6:39 on general principle. Bullying. Dwayne Jamal.
And he spake a parable unto them. Can the blind lead the blind? Shall not they both fall into the ditch?
Mm-hmm.
The disciple is not above his master, but everyone.
The disciple is not above his what?
Above his master.
And everyone
that is perfect
shall be
as his master.
See how that go back to, if the second vessel's been made yashar, made straight and upright, guess what everybody else gonna be? If you in said vessel. Let's continue. Back to Romans chapter 5. 5 and 15.
But not as the offense, so also the free gift. For if through the offense of one many be dead, much more the grace of Elohim and the gift by grace by one man, Yahushua HaMashiach,
have abounded
unto many.
And not
as it was by one that sinned,
so
is the gift
for
the judgment by one to condemnation,
but the free gift
of many offenses unto justification.
For by one man's offense,
death reigned by one.
So one man's offense, all the vessels are marred.
Much more they which receive abundance of grace and of the gift of righteousness shall reign in life by one, Yahushua HaMashiach.
That means everybody's straight. Go ahead.
Therefore, as by the offense of one,
upon
all men the condemnation,
even so
by the righteousness of one,
what? Upon all men
the justification of life.
For as by one man's
disobedience many were made sinners,
so by the obedience of one
shall many be
do you see right there? That verse is the synopsis of the contrast. Let's continue. Moreover,
the law entered that the offense might abound.
But where sin abounded,
grace did much more abound.
That as sin
have reigned unto death, even so might grace reign through righteousness unto eternal life by Yahushua HaMashiach our Lord.
Now back up to verse 20. Look where he said that where sin abounded, grace much more abound. And you know what verse that's going to take you back to show you that point? Genesis 3 and 22. Genesis 3 and 22.
And Yahuwah Elohim said, behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand and take also the tree of life and eat and live forever.
So they will show you that grace is going to come abound at some point, even though sin is abounding. Grace is going to much more abound. Obviously, because that tree of life would have showed favor to the point that death would have been destroyed. But hold on. Proverbs 10 and 12 on general principle. Then Proverbs 13 and 12 on general principle. Go ahead.
Hatred stir up strife, but love cover all sins.
Now let's go to Proverbs 13 and 12. These two verses we just talked about the other day, because that love coming from favor.
Hope deferred make the heart sick.
But when it comes,
it is a tree of life.
When the desire comes, it is a tree of life. When that grace comes, because that's what you're longing for. My God, today. Now, back to Romans 9. Matter of fact, hold on. Back to Jeremiah 18. And make sure we ain't got nothing left. In Jeremiah 18. You can read verse 4 again.
And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So he made it again, another vessel that seemed good to the potter to make.
Then
the word of Yahuwah came to me saying,
O house,
Yasharal,
can I not
do with you as this potter?
Can I not
do with you as this potter?
Saith Yahuwah.
Behold, as the clay is in the potter's hand,
so
are you in my hand, O house of Yasharal.
Now pause. Now we come back to Romans 9 and get some more insight of what this man wrote in here, man. Now, you could back this up in Romans 9, and you could go to verse 15. Romans 9 and 15.
For he said to Moses,
I will
have mercy on whom I will have mercy,
and I will
have compassion on whom I will have compassion.
That's literally what Jeremiah 18 just told you, because he said, you in my hand as this clay is. that though you are corrupted, I can make you straight. Go ahead.
So then it is not of him that will,
Nor
of him that runs,
but of
Elohim that show mercy.
for the scripture,
saith unto Pharaoh,
even
for the same purpose have I raised you up, that I might show my power in you, that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
throughout all the what?
All the earth.
Therefore,
have you mercy on him, on whom he will have mercy,
and whom
he will he harden.
will you say then unto me?
Why do we yet find fault?
For who
have resisted his will?
No.
But, O man, who are you that reply against Elohim?
Shall the thing formed
say to him that formed, why have you made me thus?
have not the potter
power over the clay
of the same
lump
to make one
vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor?
Come over here to Proverbs 16. Proverbs 16 and 1. Come on with it.
The preparation of the heart and man, and the answer of the tongue from Yahuwah.
Go ahead and tell them what them preparations is. You got some preparation, H?
Ma'arak, arrangement, plan, preparation.
So the plans of a man's lab and the answer of his tongue, that comes from Yahuwah. Let me tell you something, man. Y'all know Amos 4 tell you that he declared to a man what his thought and what his thoughts gonna be. So you could think all these plots and plans you putting together coming from you, and they could be coming from God. And you better pause and sit back and look at, is your plots and plans drawing you closer to him or further away? You know what I'm talking about? That's why I always tell you to look at stuff and have perspective. It ain't nothing wrong with wanting to do X, Y, Z, but you better pay attention and know for certain that whatever it is that you plotting and planning on doing, that it's going to have your mind, heart, and soul perfected. Because if it ain't, that means he put it in your mind for you to go to hell. You know what I'm talking about? Straight like that. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 8, just because. And people don't pay attention to that because you could get caught up and want to do 1, 2, 3 and ABC, and he'll give you over to that and let you walk around thinking you good, but in reality, deep down in your soul, you know you ain't good. How do we know this? Because Saul was doing all type of stuff, but deep down he knew he wasn't good. And you know how he knew he wasn't good? Because as soon as he didn't get an answer, what did he do? He went to go looking for those with a familiar spirit. Because he was panicking. I just want an answer. You know you're not good. Go ahead.
And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the rock of his mouth.
Come on.
Shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Come on.
Whose comings after the working of Hashatan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, with all deceivableness of unrighteousness, and them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth.
Because they received the love of faithfulness.
That they might be saved. And for this cause, Elohim shall send them strong delusion.
Send them a what?
Strong delusion.
Send them a what?
Strong delusion.
That they what?
Should believe a lie.
My God, today. Go ahead.
That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
Pause. You see how serious that is, man? That they might have pleasure in what?
Unrighteousness.
And he'll send them a delusion that they might do what?
Believe a lie. The
preparations of a heart of man and the answer of the tongue is from Yahuwah. Let's look at one in a more positive aspect. Luke chapter 12. That's not the one that I want. There it is. Luke chapter 12, man. Verse 8. Excuse me. Luke 12 and 8. Come on with it.
Also I say unto you, whosoever shall confess me before men, him shall the Son of Man also confess before the Malachim of Elohim.
What else?
But he that deny me before men shall be denied before the Malachim of Elohim.
Let me ask y'all this question. How do you deny him? What does that look like? What does that look like? What does that look like, man? How would you go on the text and rationalize that? To deny him. What does that look like? Expound, share, converse. What does that look like? Because we probably going to have to jump in another one of his epistle letters with this one. Just keep your fingers on Proverbs 16. Does anybody have an idea? What does that look like to deny him? According to this book, what that look like? They ain't got nothing for me, see? What's going on? Well, this is what we're going to do. The epistle to Titus. I'll allow it. Mama says succumbing to the lust of the flesh and the desires. But we're going to get a little bit more intricate than that. But we're going to run this passage down. So let's do this. The epistle to Titus, 1:1. That one of them. But see, tonight you cannot believe on him as the scripture has said, but when you talk about denying him, that's a literal act. That's something that can tangibly be seen. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people. Well, we just come on, Titus 1:1, because I'm gonna do the epistle and get Titus out of here. We might, matter of fact, because we could do Titus 3 anyway, but it don't matter. Come on, because we got about 3 more weeks with this here.
Say Paul, a servant of Elohim and an apostle of Yahushua Mashiach.
Paul, of what?
An apostle of Yahushua Mashiach.
According
to the faith of Elohim's elect.
And acknowledging
of the truth.
Which is after what? Now, acknowledging the truth. Remember, godliness is to be faithful. So this is the acknowledging of faithfulness through faithfulness. You acknowledge that God is faithful by being faithful. My God, today. Go ahead.
In hope of eternal life. Which Elohim that cannot lie promised before the world began.
And you know that Elohim is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of Adam that he should repent. If he said it, shall he not do it? But have in due time
manifested his word through preaching.
He manifested through his word through what? So that means his word don't get manifested from no dream you had. His word don't get manifested from no vision you had. His word don't get manifested from no man's personal experience. How his word get manifested again, man?
Through preaching.
Through what?
Through preaching.
Now come over here to Habakkuk chapter 1, man, in verse 12. I let the Lord tell it to you through the prophet, man. Go ahead.
Are you not from everlasting, O Yahuwah Elohim?
That's right.
One?
Whatever.
We shall not die, O Yahuwah. You have ordained them for judgment.
Come on.
Almighty Elohim, you have established them for correction.
Talk to him.
You are purer eyes than to behold evil.
Pure eyes to behold evil.
You cannot look on iniquity.
Can't look on these.
Wherefore look you upon them that deal treacherously.
That's right.
Hold your tongue when the wicked devour. The man that is more righteous than he. To make men as the fishes of the sea, and the creeping things that have no ruler over them. They take up all of them with the angle. They catch
I got you too far down the line. Hold on. This is verse 5, but you can start at verse 1 though. 1:1. My apologies.
The burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see, O Yahuwah, how long shall I cry, and you will not hear? Even cry unto you of violence, and you will not save.
Come on.
Why do you show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. Therefore the law is slack, and judgment do never go forth.
Don't never
the
go
wicked do compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceed. Behold, you among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously. For I will work in your days, which you would not believe.
Even though what?
Though it be told.
Though it be what?
Though it be told.
Though it be what?
Though it be told.
If the work get manifested, that work gonna be manifested through what? Preaching. Didn't we see that in Nehemiah 8? But let's take it a step further on general principle. Ecclesiastes 12:9. Because see, everybody think the man's word gonna get manifested through every other way than how he said it would. Go ahead.
And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yea, he gave good heed and sought out and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words.
Even
words written upright, words of truth.
What else?
The words of the wise as golds and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies.
That's it.
Which are given from one shepherd. And further, by these my son be admonished of making many books. No end.
That's good. Verse 3, epistle to Titus. The epistle to Titus, chapter 1, verse 3.
Say, but having due time manifested his word through preaching,
Which is
committed unto me according to the commandment of Elohim our Savior.
Titus,
my own son after the common faith,
grace,
mercy, and shalom from Elohim the Abba and the Lord Yahushua Mashiach our Savior.
He say, for this cause,
left I you in Crete,
that you should set
and order the things that are wanting,
and ordain
elders in every city,
as I appointed you,
if any be blameless,
the husband
of one wife,
having
faithful children,
not accused
of riot or unruly.
Tell them what riot or unruly is, man. Notice, man, he said, if you're blameless, if you ain't out here sinning, and you got one wife, and your children are faithful, then you're not accused of what? Riot or unruly.
Riot is asutiya, an abandoned, desolate life.
Now, Paul,
profligacy, prodigality, excess, riot.
Let's look at what that means, man. These English words here, man. Get y'all some new words for your vocabulary. You run across a whole like to argue and fuss all the time till that regular hoe she truckling. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what that means? You tell you that when you tell that funky heifer, you're contentious. You know what I'm saying? Some people be like, oh, you using the words, don't nobody know what they mean. That's when you tell them go get a dictionary, nigga. A lot of words ain't even $5 words like my English teacher used to say. I only say that because one, it's good to have other words in your vocabulary. Now, if you don't use them, you'll forget them. And that's for certain.
The Salu is lax in morals, licentious.
Yeah, see, I was going to get to that there. Lascivious. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Boss Mac a fool. You know what I'm talking about? That nigga funny to me. When you look at that somebody who's participating in profligacy, this is someone who is wasteful with their resources, but most important, they are licentious and dissolute in their behavior. When you're dealing with somebody who's dissolute, they have, like he just mentioned, they have soft morals. What does this mean to have soft morals? That means they're wicked as hell. They do what they want to do. They have no regard or concern for anything that is just and upright. So when he tell you if somebody's riotous, that's what type of person this is. Boy, they ain't got no standard, man. This person sin a lot. They bend the rules. As it how I want to say this here. As it suits them. Now, when you're dealing with somebody who's I can hear the word in my mind. Yeah, progality. This is somebody who's, again, wasteful, characterized by extravagance with a lack of concern for the future. You see what I'm talking about? There's somebody who living for now. I'm going to do what I want to do, how I want to do it. I don't care about tomorrow. That's what it means. Some people look at that as meaning an excess, meaning that you have accrued a certain amount of resources. No, it just means you dumb. You wasteful. For no reason. You know what I'm talking about? Now, let's look at what's the other word we just looked at? Unruly. You unruly? So you know if he can't be like this, his old lady can't be like that either.
Not made subject, unsubjected, cannot be subjected to control, disobedient.
This somebody rebellious.
Refractory, disobedient.
This somebody who rebellious. You know what I'm talking about? So you can't be lax in morals and you can't be rebellious. Now, I think we talked about what it is to be refractory before, but just in case you forgot, that's someone who is stubborn and unmanageable. You know what I'm talking about? You want to know if somebody is a disciplinary problem of that sort, you can't tell them nothing. You want to know another chance that you want to see somebody of that sort is that in every scenario in life, it's everybody wrong but them. And when you point that out to them and say, if you ask the question, well, what did you do? Yeah. That's somebody, they refractory, man. They unmanageable. How you know somebody, if a nigga can't manage their tongue, ain't that what James 3 told you? They can't manage their body. Because if you loose with your words, you loose with your loins, you loose with your deeds. Your heart loose, everything loose, your booty loose. You can't do nothing with somebody who's unmanageable. Look here, man. You can't have unmanageable people under you in regards to if you got any type of business, organization of the sort, and one thing for certain and two things for sure. You can't have no unmanageable woman. You know what I'm talking about? You know what a lot of men go wrong at? If she was unmanageable before you married her, I don't know what you married her for. You ain't even supposed to attempt to try to do that. Man, you ain't supposed, if a woman talking about these niggas can't handle me, I need a nigga to tame me, she already telling you she unmanageable. You ain't supposed to take that on. You ain't no zookeeper. The hell you look like trying to tame a human being. If you need to be tamed, that's your parents' job. Yeah, that's not my job. Okay, you don't like to listen. Well, don't listen then. How many of y'all hear that talking about, oh, I don't like to listen? Unmanageable. So, see, listen. And when people hear that word manage, see, they get offended. They get in their feelings. What does it mean to manage? And see, what we want to do is we want to be word specific, to be in charge of a company or an established, to administer, to run. But notice if it says to administer. So what happens if you're administering? Well, if you're administering, you're managing, responsible for running. You are supervising the execution, use, and conduct of. That's what you're doing. That's all the preacher does, is supervise the execution and use of conduct of what goes on in the house of God. That's what a man, if I can't execute and administer and manage it, I'm not dealing with that. That's why I always told you, if a woman got to tell you she got to let you be a man, that means she don't see you as one. Because you can't let me be a man. I was a man when I got here. How the hell you gonna let me be a man as if you have some type of power and control to dictate whether I am or I'm not? You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to let that slide. You supposed to check that. You can't let me do nothing. I was a man before I got here. I'm not going back and forth with you. What's wrong with you? But see, this is a key point. I'm mentioning this here because how you going to say you serve God and you going to go back and forth with him about what you are and you not going to do? Can't do that. Say you hear that a lot these days. And you can hear that a lot from people who preach. And he said if you're going to be over this, be a bishop, you can't be accused of any of that. He didn't say that even caught doing. He said don't even be accused. My God, today. Come on, man. Verse 7, the epistle to Titus, chapter 1.
It said, for a bishop must be blameless as a steward of Elohim.
Hold on. Now, I'm going to tell you what blameless is. That man say, well, blameless, that's anekletos. Cannot be called into account, unreprovable, unaccused. Ain't nobody accusing you. Ain't nobody can check you. Go ahead, man. Now that ain't nobody, when they say nobody to check you, there's nothing to check you for. See, people get in their feelings when they hear that. See, nobody can't tell you nothing. Nah, that's what you heard because that's how your mind works. He said they not living or doing nothing that nobody would need to come check them for. Nevertheless, come on, man. As the what?
As the steward of Elohim.
And he can't be what?
Self-willed.
Hold on, you just stay right there. I'm gonna work with you on this one here, man. That man say you can't be self-willed. This is rehashing things that most of you should already remember. Self-willed, self-pleasing, self-willed, arrogant. Self-pleasing. In this instance, arrogancy is considered to be one who seeks his own pleasure. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13. You cannot be over this man congregation and you concerned with your own personal desires. Can't do it. Don't nobody care what you want to do. Don't nobody care what you're working on. Don't nobody care what your goals and plans is if ain't gonna work. If you seeking after self, don't take the job. Don't intimate the job. You're not cut for it. See, but you know why he do it that way? Because he has to make sure that his stewards are faithful and that they're completely and 100% dedicated to the job. If you're not 100% dedicated to pleasing him and you're more concerned with pleasing yourself and whatever that looks like, you're going to do piss poor in the job. Go ahead, good sir.
The fear of Yahuwah is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, the evil way, the froward mouth do I hate.
Now tell him what arrogancy is there, man. He said to hate all of that.
That's God's own exaltation, majesty, pride, excellence.
So when you sit back and look at, he said you got to hate excellence. And what the Lord told his apostles, he that's greatest among you be what? Now read Proverbs 8 and 13 again.
Say the fear of Yahuwah is to hate evil.
To have reverence for Yahuwah is to hate that which is displeasing.
Pride and arrogance.
You can't have any of that. You can't sit back and be lifted up, and you can't think that your excellency is so great. Because if you think your excellency is so great, guess what you're going to be? Self-pleasing. You're going to seek to please yourself. Go ahead.
And the evil way and the froward mouth do I hate.
So if you got a perverse mouth and you got a rod to rock, you have a displeasing way of life, you need to hate that. These are all things that point to, if you're going to be a bishop, you have to do the same thing. Come on back, man. Verse 7, the chapter 1, the epistle to Titus. He said you can't be self-willed. What else you can't be, Civic?
Not soon angry.
What else? What else?
Not giving to wine.
Nor what?
No striker.
Nor giving to what?
Filthy lucre.
You can't be around here giving to that dirty money, man. What does it mean to be a striker? That's somebody who bruiser, a ready to blow, pugnacious, quarrelsome, contentious. That Greek word is placates. You're pugnacious. You're into pugilism. You can't be with that every day, man. That's not something that you could do. Let me give you another good old adjective for that. I mean, not adjective, but a synonym. I'm sorry. See, when you're angry and use a striker, you know what you end up being? A despicious nigga. And what is that? You're pitiless and you're cruel and you're malicious. Yeah, that's all that, man. That's all that. A bruiser, ready to blow, quarrelsome, contentious, pugnacious. That's what that means. You like to quarrel. You like to fight. You like to verbally joust. You know what I'm talking about? That's what you like to do. He said you can't be no preacher and do that. You a bishop, I should say. You can't be no bishop and do that. You cannot be an episcopos, an overseer, charged with the duty of seeing things are done by others as done rightly, any curator, guardian, or superintendent, or overseer of an assembly. You cannot be like that. You know what I'm talking about? Can't work. And your old lady can't be like that. And your kids can't be like that. He said, but what he got to be a lover of, Civic?
Hospitality, a lover of good men.
What else?
Sober, just, kadash, temperate.
What's a lover of hospitality? Generous to guests and hospitable. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't generous, if you're not hospitable, can't be no bishop. What does that mean to be hospitable? In English, I should say. When you look at being hospitable, friendly and welcoming to strangers or guests. A friendly, generous, and welcome to guests or people you just met. You need some advice for how long to develop even more patience and not get annoyed with a godly good course or not. Oh, you didn't walk away. That's all. When you're talking about having a conversation with somebody about some word and they don't want to hear your point of view, then you just remove yourself from the conversation respectfully. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Because if they don't want to hear it, if they're showing you by their actions that they don't want to hear it, then you just got to let that be what it is. What's lover of good men? That's lover of goodness, a promoter of virtue. Oh, yeah, you dealing with Jehovah's Witness, man. They ain't trying to hear nothing you talking about. Phigalothos. Sometimes it's best to not even have them conversations when you know somebody is going to be like that. It's just better not to even have biblical conversations with them. When you talk about being sober, that's being self-controlled. Sophron. So if you don't have self-control, can't do it. You know justice to be righteous. You know Kadash. They got holy there. And again, temperate is again mastering and controlling, curbing and restraining, having power over, controlling oneself. See, that's when people say, oh, I always hear I. You don't say Jesus did it. But you got to have, but then turn around and read it here. You got to have self-control. You have to have the ability to curb your own behavior. You have to have the ability to control yourself. Remember, he said, a man who has no control over his ruach is like a city with no walls. So you have to be able to control your emotions, control your thoughts, control your desires, control your mouth. Can't do that. You can't be no bishop. You can't say you represent God and you reckless like that. That's insane. Say holding what, Civic?
Fast the faithful word as have been taught.
That he might
be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers.
What's a gainsayer? A gainsayer. Anteligo, to speak against, to gainsay, to contradict, to oppose oneself, to decline to obey him, to declare oneself against him, to refuse anything to do with him. Anybody who refuses the Lord, who contradicts what the scriptures say, that speaks against Yahushua is a gainsayer. Listen what he say now, verse 10, for their what?
Are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers.
Especially
they of the circumcision,
whose mouths
must be stopped,
who subvert
whole houses,
teaching
things which they ought not.
For what? Now we can read about that with Samuel. Shalom, Eric, man. With Samuel's sons. Come over here to what? 1 Samuel. And we can sit back and see how they were teaching things they ought not for filthy lucre's sake. I think it's chapter 9 what his sons did mention. Yep. Chapter 8, verse 1. 1 Samuel 8 and 1. We still holding Proverbs 16. 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 1.
And it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Yasharal. Now the name of the firstborn was Joel, and the name of the second Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba, and the sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, took bribes and perverted judgment.
They did what now?
Took bribes and perverted
judgment. They went after what now?
Turned aside after lucre, took bribes and perverted judgment.
Tell them what lucre is. So he's saying it's chiefly Jews casting that stumbling block. Yes, mainly. No, that's what he's telling Titus anyway.
That's Basah, profit, unjust gain.
Unjust gain.
Profit acquired by violence, covetousness, dishonest gain.
Dishonest gain, covetousness. Pause. Luke 16, verse 7. That might be too high, but I don't care. Luke 16 and 7.
Then said he to another, how much owe you? And he said, 100 measures of wheat. And he said unto him,
now go to 10. We ain't trying to read on.
He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much.
Come on.
He that is unjust in the least is also unjust in much.
Come on.
If therefore you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the truth?
Listen.
And if you have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who shall give you that which is your own?
Listen.
No servant can serve two masters.
Why?
For he will hate the one and love the other.
Why?
Or else he will hold to the one and despise the other.
What else?
You cannot serve Elohim and man.
So okay. Come on.
And the Pharisees also, who were covetous.
Who were what?
Covetous.
Who were what?
Covetous. Heard all these things and they derided him.
They ridiculed him. What happened?
And he said unto them, you are they which justify yourselves before men.
You are they that make yourself righteous before who?
Before men.
Before who?
Before men.
Well, who know your heart?
But Elohim know your heart.
And
for that which is highly esteemed among men
is
abomination in the sight of Elohim.
My God today. So you see what happens with that there man? See, go over here to Micah chapter 3, right? You pick me up verse 7 on general principle. I see what verse 7 say. I know what verse I want. I want to see what 7 say though. See, notice that the issue was not that these men were getting paid. It's how they were getting paid. And I'm just giving you the examples of why he say that if you're going to do that, you can't be given to filthy lucre. You cannot be given to money that is garnered dishonestly, unjustly, or through violence. This all don't make sense because the Pharisees were living comfortably pursuant to John 11. Yeah, and they were covetous, and they exacted some of their resources unjustly. You know what I'm saying? More than likely, a lot of them probably judged for hire, judged for lucre's sake. You know what I'm talking about? So when you see things of this nature, we've given you the scriptural example of people who did such things. Because again, it said that they turned aside after lucre and took bribes and perverted judgment. And he told you don't take no gift, because if a gift blinds the eyes of the wise. See, a lot of individuals, you know what I'm talking about, do certain, because human beings are the same. You know what I'm saying? Listen, let me tell you, right? Peace, you to die, man. Every person who preached the word don't want no money. Every preacher who getting money from somebody ain't getting it unjustly. But see, there comes a point that if a man is covetous, or he begins to see that he can have his coffers increase, they can be corrupted, because the only thing they're going to be concerned with is their lust, which is why you can't be self-willed and self-pleasing. You know what I'm talking about? And we can see self-willed and self-pleasing, and why you can't be that with Saul. You can't be that way with Jeroboam. You know what I'm saying? With Rehoboam, you can't be that way and be over the people, because eventually, you know what's going to happen? You're going to lead the people astray to the people's own destruction because of your desire to satisfy yourself. You know what I'm talking about? That's why that's detrimental. If you want to live a life satisfying yourself, that's your business. But you can't be over the house of God and do that. Hell, you might not can't be over your own house and do that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know that that's a difficult thing to balance, because you be like, well, if I'm the head of the house, everybody should please me. Yeah, they should, but it should be the pleasing towards the vision of purpose that benefits the entire family, because whatever vision you have is to benefit those who are under your charge. Because when you sit back and look at it, the Lord said, you say, I'm your Lord and Master. And what he said, and you right. He said, but if I, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, you ought to wash one another's feet, and blessed be he that do this. So he's telling you, even though I am your ruler, your curator, your overseer, your king, and all these things, in serving you, you can fulfill my purpose, because I'm not seeking to please myself, which is why he said, I did not come down from heaven to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me, which is why he was able to say, Abba, not my will be done, but your will be done. So when you see the chief bishop manifesting behavior exemplary of the conduct that Paul is elucidating to, you know where he's getting it from. Because this is not necessarily how some people say book, chapter, and verse where it say that. You got to see it in the conduct, in the nuance of the behavior. You know what I'm saying? That's what niggas are looking at. They're not looking at behavior. So they're not going to peep it. Micah chapter 3, verse 7.
Then shall the seers be ashamed and the diviners confounded.
But make it 5, because he said somebody finna be ashamed. Micah chapter 3, verse 5.
Thus saith Yahuwah concerning the prophets that make my people err. That bite with their teeth and cry, Shalom.
What it mean he bite with their teeth? What that mean? What do it mean to bite?
That's the shock, to bite, to pay, to give interest, to lend for interest or usury.
Oh, these people are, if they biting with their teeth, boy, they are exacting unjust gain out of the people. They giving people resources and taxing them for it.
To oppress with interest on a loan.
To oppress with interest on a loan. See, you thought that just was somebody talking against somebody. That's filthy lucre. That's unjust gain. That's unjust gain. Go ahead, man.
And teeth is shine. That's tooth or eye.
Yeah, that's just regular tooth. But they biting you with the teeth because them unjust. See, pause. Proverbs 23. And see, that's the one. Hold on. Let me make sure. My mind bad. (22:7). Proverbs 22:7. I was finna say 23, but it's 22. I'm gonna give you two more words. See that dictionary we got that junk too big to be taken in the bath. I recommend you tell all your children, man, tell them, man, take that dictionary in the bathroom and read it. See, I was a different type of nigga. That's why Marvin, I can appreciate Boss Man, how he talked with the exception of me calling women niches every other word, because I ain't really talk like that. But I definitely would mix high level vernacular with street slang and profanity. You know what I'm talking about? So people run across me and thinking, nah, and people who know me like, nah, that nigga just talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Just give us a mix. You know what I'm saying? But you also do have to have the ability. I know I hate when people say code switching. It's not code switching to me is if you change up your entire demeanor and tone to be able to be appeasing to someone who don't look like you. Having the ability to effectively communicate no matter what environment you in is a skill that any real nigga should have. You should be able to know how to communicate to people in the street. You should be able to know how to communicate to regular everyday people. If you're in front of business people, you need to know how to communicate with them. And if you let somebody around here tell you, oh, that's code switch, that nigga's a jackass. Because that means this person does not understand the ability to effectively communicate, to impart understanding to his audience. Because the objective is for your audience to understand what you're saying. But you know what that goes back to? I make myself all things for all people that I might save some. That's skill, nigga. Didn't the man tell you to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove? You're supposed to have some skill and finesse about yourself, man. Not just walk around here feel like I gotta keep it real and talk nigga. Get the hell out of here, man. That's retarded, bro. That's retarded, man. God damn. You know what I'm saying? Say a smart dude can act dumb, indeed, but a dumb person cannot act smart. Yeah, man. That junk retarded. Hey, freak. But come on with it. That nigga's retarded, man. I ain't never been on that. Look, I talk the same. My tone don't change or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I just remove which words I'm using. You know what I'm talking about? Depending on who I'm talking to. If you're in a room full of business people, you can't talk to them like you talking to your homeboys in the hood. That's dumb. And some of you niggas stupid enough to do that because you feel like I'm not gonna change my blackness. You're an idiot. You are an idiot. You're stupid. You're gonna literally be the type of nigga who get this money. You know what that type of nigga who trying to do this here with this money? You know what that nigga is? He's an impernicious mendicant. That's what that nigga is, man. You don't want to be an impernicious mendicant. You know what that means, Civic? If you're impernicious, you ain't got no money. And if you're a mendicant, you're always begging. You know what I'm talking about? And guess what? Most of these preachers are impernicious mendicants. Because they ain't got no money and they always begging. Begging all the goddamn time for nigga. Go get a job. Not for me, leave the people. They're going to come looking for them. No, but you notice sometimes we look at words. That's why I be reading y'all the synonyms, man. But all jokes aside, that's in 1 Corinthians 9 and starting 22. You make yourself all things to all people that you might win some. The Lord told you, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. You have to have the ability to know how to be wise enough and skillful enough to be able to communicate to people on a level that they can understand. If I'm in front of people who I know don't have a vocabulary that dense, then why would I pull out words that I know they don't understand? See, you only do that because you want to be able to seem intellectually superior to who you're talking to. You know what I'm saying? See, my thing is, and again, I learned this very young. Matter of fact, I told y'all this before. I learned it from a book called Niggas and Gods, Volume 2, where he stated that you must have the ability for your audience to understand what you're saying. If your audience does not understand what you're saying, your words are useless. See, it doesn't matter if you understand it. Can you get the person who you are communicating to understand it? And that's what we read in Nehemiah 8 when he said they caused the people to understand the reading. A lot of people problem is you understand it and you feel like they should understand it because you do. Well, maybe you understand it, but did you effectively communicate it for them to understand it? Because if you didn't, your mission failed. And you don't have to take it personally if you didn't. That means you need to reassess how you're conveying the information. But you know why we can't do that? Because you take things personally. Instead of saying, okay, that didn't work. Let me explain it like this. Now, if you've explained it 22 different ways and they haven't caught it, now you know you're dealing with someone who is completely unintelligent. And ain't nothing you can do about that. You know what I'm saying? You might need to find somebody else. That's just it. So I've always bared an intemperance for folks like that. And I understand. You know what I'm saying? But it's good though. And another thing that, of course, expands your vocabulary is if you read. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't read, then your vocabulary is probably going to be limited, and your ability to communicate is probably going to be very limited. You know what I'm saying? Because there has to come a point in time once you reach a certain age that your ability to communicate in the words that you use should be a lot broader than how you spoke when you were 20. Because that means you're not going to be able to infiltrate, if you would, different rooms, arenas, and social circles to be able to make connections and build relationships with people. You're just gonna always want to be around hood people, man. There's more people out here than hood niggas, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like, come on, man. You gotta be better than that. Like all this stuff you seen about Shador saying, I don't know if none of that stuff true. Really don't give a damn. But like I told you the other day, if you take that as truth of what they said about this young man, bro, you ain't never gonna win when you communicate to people like that. And you can say that people want to humble you and this, that, there, and the third. And if that's what you want to tell yourself to justify the fact that you came into a situation and circumstance and you were grossly ineffective as a communicator, then go right head on and play the victim for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? But we talking about if we take this stuff at face value, you cannot communicate to people that way and get a positive outcome from them. And if you think that you should get one simply because I'm confident and I believe in myself, you've been completely deceived. You've been deceived. Like nobody don't care because you're confident that means that you can talk to them any kind of way or communicate with them any kind of way. That is insane. That's insane. Why would you think that's cool? He said you must obtain an expansive vocabulary and the knowledge of the dictionary. And the reason why people don't like it most black, because you let somebody tell you that that's being white. You let a nigga dumber than you convince you that you should stay dumb as him. I don't even understand how that works. We walk around, you trying to impress dumb niggas? Why? So you'll keep yourself lowered to be able to say that you kept it real. Kept it real with who? You ain't keeping it real with yourself. It is tragic, my nigga. It is tragic. Because I told y'all that when I was in middle school, and boy, like, boy, I didn't come here for that. You cannot care and have any concerns with how other people think about you or say about you when you are on a mission, on a journey to better yourself in every area of your life. That's crazy. How in the hell do you want to keep it real with niggas who are, listen, man. I just seen this video, man, this chick talking about how you niggas wake up early in the morning and the first thing you want to do is go talk to some niggas. Go play a video game. Go smoke some weed. You ain't look here, come on, man. You have to sit back and look at it. Niggas want to call themselves kings and rulers and all these type of things. Well, kings don't participate in that type of behavior. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to use an adjective to describe yourself, then your character and your actions will need to line up with what you want people to believe that you are. But they can look at the stuff you do and say, I've seen a lot of kings and that nigga ain't one. Don't no king get up early in the morning and want to play. He would, you know what he doing? Overseeing and supervising his dominion. That's what he get up to do. And we've already talked about years ago, you know what I'm talking about? Kings must serve. So they're going to seek to how that they can serve. Because you know why they know this? because when they serve their kingdom will serve them. Oh, we telling too much right now. That's what the Lord said, ain't it? He said the upbringing of a parent is very strict. Absolutely. 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 Come on, Sylvia, where we at with it?
Proverbs 22:7.
Listen what he say.
Say the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender.
And that's why that was ugly. Why they doing that there with that unjust gain, charging usury to them people? Because now they ruling over. They ruling over the people. And not ruling over the people with word, ruling over the people because they got them in debt. They got them owed to them. So when you hear this stuff about these dudes telling people sell everything they got and give it over to them, and then the preacher control everything, he the one, he oppressing the people, you biting with your teeth. Nigga, that's unjust gain. Back to Micah chapter 3. He said, I had a semantics class in middle school. Yeah, that's rigorous and stringent. Look at, man, you don't want that for your life, man. But you don't pay attention to that because these boys spice up a little word for you. Make you think that's what it is. You know what I'm talking about? Man, that ain't what it do. Well, I promise you that ain't what it do, man. Come on with it, man.
Let me read verse 5 again.
Yes, sir. Micah chapter 3, verse 5, man.
Thus saith Yahuwah concerning the prophets that make my people err, that bite with their teeth and cry, Shalom. And
they got the nerve to oppress you and take your money from you unjustly and then say peace unto you. Whole nigga. God.
And he that put not into their mouths, they even prepare war against him. Therefore, night unto you, that you shall not have a vision, and it shall be dark unto you, that you shall not divine.
My God.
The sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them.
Dark.
Then shall the seers be ashamed, and the diviners confounded. Yea, they shall all cover their lips, for no answer of Elohim.
God ain't fooling with them. Come on.
But truly I am full of power by the Ruach of Yahuwah.
That's right.
Judgment and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression, and to Yasharal his sin.
Go ahead.
Hear this, I pray you heads of the house of Jacob, and princes of the house of Yasharal.
What about?
That abhor judgment and pervert all equity.
He said they hate judgment, they pervert equity.
They build up Zion with blood, and sleep with iniquity.
What else?
The heads thereof judge for reward.
They judge for what?
Reward.
They won't judge for no matter unless you pay them.
And the priests thereof teach for hire.
And they won't teach you no word unless you pay them.
And the prophets thereof divine for money.
And they go out here prophesy as long as you pay them.
Yet will they lean upon Yahuwah and say, it's not Yahuwah among us, none evil can come upon us.
None. Tell them what hire is, man. That man said they teach for pay. My God, today.
That is Makir, price, hire, reward, gain.
They won't do it unless they gaining something. So what that mean? That don't mean that the preacher don't get compensated. Is that what he's saying? He's saying they won't do it unless they get paid. You know how many of these dudes, listen, man, you know how many of these dudes, man, if they ain't getting nothing, they ain't showing up. Well, you got to show up regardless. Come on, man. That Gobody said you can't be a bishop if you're greedy for filthy lucre. That's why we're reading all that. Come on back to Titus, the epistle of Titus, chapter 1, verse 11.
Whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake.
One
of themselves, a prophet of their own.
Say the Christians are always what?
Liars.
Evil beasts.
Slow bellies.
Tell them what a slow belly is, man. I mean, you eat slow, you're digesting slow, your bowels ain't working right.
Slow as argos, free from labor, at leisure, lazy, shunning the labor which one ought to perform.
Lazy bastard. You say you're slothful. You won't get off your funky behind and do something.
And the belly is gastare, and that is the belly, the womb, the stomach, a glutton, a gourmandizer, a man who is as it were all stomach.
A gourmandizer. Let's look and see what a gourmandizer is. I'm not familiar with that word. I ain't never heard that word before. Gourmandizing. Just a gorger. Eat good food, especially the excess. You eat ravenously. You devour greedily. What is the synonym for it? To binge, to gobble, to gulp, to guzzle, to overindulge. So you're lazy bastard, always chewing, chew looking boy. Don't do nothing but eat. Won't get your funky behind up and do nothing. It's a lion in the street. Can't go out there. Come on, man.
If this witness is true, wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith, not giving heed to Jewish fables, the commandments of men that turn from the truth.
What's a fable there, man? You ain't giving heed to no Jewish fables. You read Aesop fables to your children.
That's muthos, a speech, a word, a saying, a narrative, a story, a true narrative, a fiction, a fable, an invention, a falsehood.
You know, and again, all that's telling you is the commandments of men, like Isaiah 29 tell you. Unto the verse 15, by the way.
So the pure, all things are pure.
But unto them that are what?
Defiled,
and unbelieving.
Nothing.
But even their mind.
And conscience is defiled.
Listen, let me tell you something, man. If somebody don't believe the word, man, ain't nothing gonna be clean from the word to them, man. They mind already done. They profess
that they know,
but in works,
they deny.
But in works,
they deny.
Being and disobedient
unto every good work reprobate.
When he tell you every good work reprobate, that means you could do a good work before God and God gonna reject it. All that thing and you could do good stuff and you'll just be blessed and all that. Man, that stuff don't mean nothing, man, if you abominable and disobedient. That meant you could go feed 1,000 homeless people, man. But if you abominable and disobedient, God reject that. He don't want that. He don't want nothing to do with that. You might have well had ate all that food for yourself. But when you look at it, he's saying works, they do what?
They deny.
That's what Saul did when he killed the Amalekites and the king. But what's the other way to deny him? For shortened version, what Peter did, man. When they say, do you know him? Let's look and see. Matthew 26. Or do you know what? I'll open tomorrow. So come to Mark 13. Or Mark 14. I'll open tomorrow. We'll get over there, man. $14 and 53. Or actually 14 and 66. Mark 14 and 66.
And as Peter was beneath the palace, there come one of the maids of the high priest.
And when she
saw Peter warming himself,
she looked upon him
and said, and you also was with Yahushua of Nazareth.
But he denied,
saying, I know not, neither understand I that you say.
He said, I don't even know what. So I don't even understand what you're saying.
And he went out into the porch, and the cock crew.
The maid saw him again.
And began to say to them that stood by, this is one of them.
And he what?
Denied it again.
A little after.
They that stood by said again to Peter,
surely
you are one of them.
For you are what?
A Galilean.
And your what?
Speech agreed.
But he began to
curse
and to
swear,
I know not
this man of whom you speak.
And
the second time the cock crew, Peter called to mind the word that Yahushua said unto him, when the cock crowed twice, you shall deny me thrice. He thought thereon, he wept.
He what?
He wept.
Hold on. Let me grab the one where it say the Lord turned and looked at it. Lord turned and looked at it. 24, 22 and 54. 22 and 54. It's going to say the same thing, but I just want you to see, because when he did it, Lord looked at it.
What book is that, man?
Luke 22 and 54.
Then took they him and led and brought him into the high priest's house, and Peter followed afar off.
And when they had kindled
a fire in the midst of the hall,
and was set down
together,
Peter
sat down among them.
But a certain maid
beheld him as he sat by the fire,
earnestly
looked upon him.
He said, this man
was also with him.
This man
was also with him.
And he what?
Denied him.
Tell him what denied mean in Greek, man. When you looking at denying him here, man, this is absolutely saying, man, I don't know him. See, this ain't just rejecting the word. This ain't just saying you ain't believe the testimony. This is coming up, man, when somebody say you wanted him and you say, I don't know him. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know him. See, you got the aspect of denying him with your works because you're abominable and disobedient. But it's even another when people know you've been professed to be a Yahudim. You profess to be a believer in the Son of God. And when the pressure come down and you say, man, I don't know that dude. I know not no Yahushua. I know the beast. My God, today. Come on.
That's Arneomai. That is to deny someone, to deny, abnegate, abjure, not to accept, to reject, to refuse something offered, disavow, to reject.
To disavow. Hold on. Let me get some of them words right there, man. Keep holding Proverbs 16. Hold on. You can pull because
Abnegate.
you want to abdicate? He abdicate. Don't abdicate. Speaking of the beast, that's how the recent movie Sinners, how the beast is probably gonna come at people. I ain't seen it, so I can't speak on it. I know Boot want to go see it. I have no desire. And that's before people started talking about it. I think I want to see. I think I seen one trailer, but I mean that's just. It didn't look like something I wanted to see, and I don't want to see a lot of movies. So, to abnegate is to renounce or reject something desired or valuable. So when you abnegate, you're rejecting something desirous and valuable, the same way that they did that with the tree of life. When you abjure something, that is to solemnly renounce a belief, cause, or claim. So again, when you're looking at denial, this is something you're knowingly doing. You have confessed that you believe this. You've confessed that it was valuable, and you are rejecting it. That was what it is to abnegate or to abjure something. To disavow, obviously, I think you know what that means. Yeah, then I think I told you that when I found out it was to disavow is to reject something, but to abjure it is to formally and typically a religious term implying a sworn rejection of a belief. While disavowing is referring to denying responsibility or affiliation. Now, synonyms for abjure is to recount, to renounce, or to retract. That means you would take back or to repudiate. That means that you're taking those words back. You are refusing to acknowledge and you are swearing off and denying and disclaiming and disowning. So again, when you look at what denial looks like I know not Yahuwah when you had previously said you did. You know what I'm talking about? That's why I say that these men love their lives even unto the death. That's something that you have to weigh and consider. I told you that plenty of times. It's real easy to confess the Lord right now when nobody's beating you, nobody's killing you, and nobody is locking you up. But you have to have the resolve to determine in your soul and in your heart and in your spirit that if it push came to shove, that I'm down to die for this. I'm down to go to jail for it. I'm willing to suffer for it. These are not just abject words that I'm just throwing out here just for the sake of saying them. This is something that you must weigh and consider. That's why he told you better sit down and count the cost whether you got sufficient to pay. It is real easy to be faithful in times of comfort. You know what I'm saying? It is real easy to be faithful in times of comfort. It is real easy to be loyal in times of prosperity. Real easy. Anybody can do that. But when things come a little topsy-turvy, when things come a little turbulent, a little troublesome 96 if you would, then it come a little different. Most people don't want to walk with you no more. You know what I'm saying? See, now, some people look at certain things and they think some people should, when they meet you and you're going through troublous times, that they should join in with you. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. You cannot have any expectation of someone you just come across that they should come and walk with you in times of trouble and tribulation that you already had when they met you. But if they are willing to do so, then you may have found you a friend indeed. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm not being facetious or anything of the sort. I'm being 100% honest. If you are dealing with troublous times, whatever they might be, and a person is willing to join in with you, and they don't know you like that, then you very well may have found you a good friend. Because most people who know you don't want to walk with you in trouble. So how much more so someone who don't know you? You know what I'm talking about? And I only say that because people don't owe you that if you just met them. Because they don't have that. But I'm going to be honest with you. If somebody been down with you and then they turn their back on you, it get ugly. They back got to stay turned when things get right. I can tell you that. Oh, you can't bring your funky behind back around here. Yeah, you can't come back around here. You made your choice. Once you leave, niggas stay gone. That's just what that is. See, some people don't have no self-respect because they think people gonna chase after them. Man, look here, man. I don't run track. I stopped playing tag long time ago. I'm not chasing nobody. Hell, I can't run no more anyway. Not without pain, so it ain't even worth it. Hell no, it ain't worth it. And I ain't being funny neither, nigga. I could not run for an extended period of time without physical pain. So I'm to my show as doo-doo stank. I ain't finna run after you, man. Not if you say, I don't want to fool with you no more, then that's what it is. He said that's why Mace said in an interview when he said he decided to leave music, a lot of people left. And when he came back, people always want to come back in your life if they think they can get a benefit. But I always tell you, man, adversity shows the character and the mettle of everyone. Not just you, but the people who, now I'm be honest with you, if niggas ain't fool with you before you fell off, you shouldn't even expect them to fool with you when you do. You know what I'm talking about? But you know, some of your people should have told you that when you were young. When you see how many friends you got if you ain't got no car no more. I ended with this here because CeeLo said this on the record. Some of y'all don't know the record, and some of you do. But he said, I kind of like being poor. He said, at least I know what my friends here for. You know what I'm talking about? And then Trick Daddy told you another. He said, man, if I ain't got it, I ain't your dog no more. Well, if that's the case, well, nigga, I ain't got it then. You know what I'm talking about? And that's just what it is. You know what I'm talking about? What I mean is, if somebody your friend, they're your friend regardless of what you got going on. But you don't want to be mendicant, though. Because don't nobody like somebody who beg all the time. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody like that. I ain't saying it's right or wrong. I'm just telling you the reality of life. You don't like your kids because they beg you for your snacks all the time. You can't eat nothing. See, most of y'all, your kids be begging and you give them a piece. See, I eat in mine face. I ain't got no problem with it. I ain't got no shame. I don't want to give them none. I ain't give them none. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm eating right in your face. Because I told you no the first time. You know what I'm talking about? And my answer ain't going to change. And just because you a child don't mean like, well, that's the baby. Give them, man. Bump that baby. And y'all think I'm playing too. But I'm not. I have no problem looking in their face and telling them, no, I ain't giving you nothing. You always begging. You had your this was Lil Muffin used to do when she was a child. And I wager every child has done this. They got something and they don't eat it. But you got something else. Not what they got. And here they come begging for your food. They want your stuff. You had a whole plate of food over here. I ain't giving you nothing. You know what I'm talking about? I was gonna say that my Muffin did this. She was a little child. You know what I'm saying? 2, 3, 4 years old, somewhere in that range. She got chicken nuggets. I got a hamburger. You want some hamburger? No. You should have ate your nuggets over there. You ain't getting none of this. It's mine. And you think I'm playing? I ain't giving none either. Joanne gonna find out. She done found out a couple times. She done went and cried to her mama. He won't give me none. She say, "Sure, I don't know what you come over here for." Y'all think I'm playing? She done ran to D plenty of time. Baba won't give me none. So lame. You thought telling your mama was gonna get you something? It's not. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. I said no. Let's go. Continue on, good sir. Luke chapter 22, verse 57.
Mm-hmm. And he denied him, saying, "Woman, I know him not." And after a little while, another psalmist said, "You are also them." And Peter said, "Man, I am not." And about the space of 1 hour after another, confidently affirmed, saying, "Of a truth, This fellow was also with him.
He's a what?
Galilean.
And Peter said,
Man, I know not what you say.
he said, man, I don't know what you talking about.
And immediately while he yet spake, the cock crew.
And the Lord
turned and looked upon Peter.
And Peter remembered
the word of the Lord, how he had said unto him, before the cock crow, you shall deny me thrice. And Peter went out and wept bitterly.
But you know how hard that had to be for the Lord to tell you that? You done did it. He done do this here. He'll come and look at you.
I told you.
He ain't no tell you. I ain't got to say I told you. All I got to do is just turn around and he already knew what time it was. He ain't had to say nothing. That's what it is to deny him, though. Come on to Proverbs 16, man. That back to verse 1. That's what we talking about when he say, hey, man, the preparations of a man's heart and the answer of his tongue is from Yahuwah. That's what you seen that with Peter. Because that had to go down like that. Y'all know the verses in Job and all them other. It had to go down like that. Peter just didn't understand that. He just didn't understand that. Proverbs 16 and 1.
Preparations of the heart of man and the answer of the tongue from Yahuwah.
All the ways
of a man are clean in his own eyes.
But Yahuwah do what? Say everything clean in the man's eye. Tell him what way mean. But he said Yahuwah gonna weigh them ruach though.
That's the con to regulate, measure, estimate, ponder.
He gonna ponder. He gonna measure it. He gonna measure it out. Let's see how clean you really is, then, man. You know what I'm saying? Tell them what clean is in there, man. That's what a lot of people, man. You gonna tell us how righteous and clean you is? Let's weigh this out.
That's exact, clean, pure, clean, righteous.
And what we read in Titus, man, say the defiled mind ain't nothing pure. But you pure in your own eyes, ain't you, huh? He said, I'm gonna go ahead and measure you out. Let's see. Funky bastard. Come on.
Commit your works unto Yahuwah.
And your what?
God shall be
but see, if you commit your deeds to Yahuwah, then your plots, plans, and devices can be firmly amar. You can take a stand. Because Yahuwah has made what?
All things for himself.
He's made all things for his what?
For himself.
Yea.
Even the wicked for the day of evil.
Let's see how that go back with what we read in Romans 9. Verse 5 though.
To everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to Yahuwah.
And though hand,
he shall not be unpunished.
So go back. So guess what? He said he made everybody for himself, didn't he? Even the wicked for the day of what? So when you come back to Romans 9 and you read verse 21. Go ahead.
Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? If Elohim willing to show wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering, the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction, that he might make known the riches of his esteem on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto esteem.
Now pause. You can look at that from an estimation of David and Saul, David and Absalom. What happened with Ahab and Jehoshaphat, because the esteem of Yahuwah was on Jehoshaphat and the wrath of Yahuwah was on Ahab. You know what I'm talking about? Go ahead.
And that he might make known the riches of his esteem on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto esteem.
Even us.
Whom he had called.
Not.
Of the Yahudim only.
But also.
Of the Gentiles.
Also, he said where?
And Osi.
I will what?
Call them my people.
That boy said Osi. That boy said he feeling Usi. He didn't know that said Jose. That boy feeling Uzi. And he said also where? I mean, I would say. Go ahead.
I will call them my people, which are not my people, and her beloved, which was not beloved.
For those who don't know what he's referring to, Hosea chapter 2, verse 17. Go ahead, Hosea 2 and 17.
Okay, for I will take away the names of Balaam out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their names. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, with the fowls of Shamaim, and the creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow with the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safe.
So he tell you won't remember any other gods, and there won't be no wrath on the children of Yasharal. But what else gonna happen? Then you're gonna do what?
Betroth you unto me forever.
Tell them what betroth means, man.
That's a Ross, to betroth, to engage.
Now tell them 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. Come on with it.
Would to Elohim, you could bear with me a little in folly, and indeed bear with me, for I am jealous over you with godly jealousy. For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you a chaste virgin to a Mashiach.
Tell them what a spouse means. I know y'all know what this stuff means. Don't take it personal.
Harmazo, to join, to fit together, to betroth a daughter to anyone, to join to oneself, to marry the daughter of anyone, to betroth, to give one in marriage to anyone.
To give you into marriage. He said he's going to betroth you to marriage for him forever. That goes back to the conversation we had about bringing his banished back to him, or devising a means to bring his banished back, which went back to the conversation we had about, the divorce and remarriage and all the stuff that people had with that. People's biggest problems with a lot of things is that they never look at the pattern of the God whom they claim they serve in his conduct and behavior. To actually see if you want to know what should be done, all you got to do is look at what he did. I don't know why that's so hard for people to do. You know what I'm saying? We didn't talk about it before. People say, well, the Lord ain't have a wife. Yeah, he did, it's you. But you got people who so doggone super tough. I ain't his wife. But then what you call it then, nigga? You can't say you the people of Yasharal, and then he referred to his people as a bride and a comely woman, and then you say that you're not a part of that because you got to be so masculine and tough. When all you have to do is, all you showing is that you just utterly repugnant, that you're rebellious and you don't want to submit because you feel like that's an affront to your manhood unless you sit down and pee and like it in your butt. Because it ain't that serious. Because the way that you got to look at him is the same way you want your wife to look at you. But your wife don't look at you like that because you don't look at him like that. So since you think you a man, she thinks she one too. So that's why you get that interaction, dummy. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. 2 Corinthians 11:1.
Said, I will to Elohim, you could bear with me a little in folly, and indeed bear with me, for I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to a Mashiach.
Go ahead.
But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve,
Pause. Through what?
Through a subtlety.
Subtlety, little cunning, little craftiness. What did he do to Eve? Continue.
So your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in the Mashiach.
Tell him what simplicity means. Too much of that toughening and stuff. Yeah, I mean, now I'm gonna be honest with you. It come in that because you live in a look at, man. Masculinity is of a paramount. Let's not get that twisted. That's of a paramount. Let's not get that twisted. You know what I'm saying? But you would also have to know that some things are not an affront to your masculinity when you look at them in the proper context, and there's certain things you don't internalize. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, we know that a man, if he's a man, doesn't want to have, shalom, Sister Kelly, to compare himself to a woman, because then at that point he wouldn't be a man. I know like people like to say people have a masculine and feminine side. I reject that deposit. I've always rejected that deposit. I don't have a feminine side. I'm a man. The only way you're going to get with that is because my body produces estrogen and her body produces testosterone. But outside of that, I'm a man. The same way as a woman, you should be like, I'm not a man. I don't have a masculine side. I'm a woman. You know what I'm saying? And masculinity is not the stuff that people look at. You're not masculine because you know how, because you get up and go to work. You're not masculine because you pay some bills. That makes you a responsible adult. You know what I'm talking about? You're not masculine if you know how to shoot a gun. That just means you know how to shoot a gun. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's what some people say. You're not masculine because you have your own brain and you can think for yourself and you have the ability to communicate thoughts and ideas and opinions. You know what I'm talking about? Masculinity is character traits that pertain to certain things. You know what I'm talking about? And that's just what that is. Because as a man, you're supposed to dominate. And that's just what it is. You know how you know man's supposed to dominate? Because he made Adam from the dust of the ground and he gave him dominion. Now, when you're talking about dominate, this is not necessarily dominating people. This is dominating your life. Your life. ruling over your life. As a man, I don't have to dominate other people. If other people want to come into what I have going on, we just read that earlier. You're supposed to be a minister unto them, because you can't be self-pleasing and self-willed, if you will. Because then you won't be like your Lord and Master, who washed his apostles' feet. So therefore, you would be blessed when you did that. See, you can dominate people or not. Harvey Weinstein dominated people. I don't think anyone would confuse him with being masculine. So you can dominate people and be a tyrant. But doesn't necessarily mean you're masculine, but you dominate your life. What does it mean to dominate? Not a dominatrix, my God, today. Most important, powerful, or influential. That's what it means to dominate. Also, commanding or controlling or prevailing over others. Notice it says they have a strong influence or control over others, often with a desire to lead and make decisions. Key aspects of being dominant: influence and control, leadership, assertiveness, a strong presence, not always aggressive. While some might perceive dominant individuals as aggressive, this isn't always the case. Dominance also manifests as leadership and confidence. Notice the things that it means: having a strong presence, a sense of power and authority. Also being assertive and confident and expressing their preferences and opinions without hesitation. They set direction. You should be doing that in your own life. If you're not assertive, if you can't take the charge and make decisions in your own life, if you don't even have the influence or control over yourself, how are you going to have the ability to influence and control others? He said they used buck breaking as dominance during slavery. They did. But see, the buck breaking thing is a different level of dominance, because that's really what you call it? That's mind control. You know what I'm talking about? See, that those are oppressive tactics for mind control, which is not really proper dominance, if you would. You know what I'm talking about? Because when you go to doing physical acts against another for the purpose of influencing their behavior, you want something else all the way around the board. But of course, they had slaves, so you want your slaves to be as docile as possible in order for you to continue ruling over them. You know what I'm saying? But that's another conversation for another day. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of dudes look like this here, but if you got a man and he want to be dominant over you, but he ain't dominant over his own life, then you don't have a dominant man. So that's where a lot of people go wrong at. You know what I'm saying? And that's where some women will mess up at, is you might be dominant in your life, but if that's a man, he's not going to let you dominate him. He's just not going to let you do it. He's not even going to deal with you. And that would go back to the part we were talking about earlier about somebody being truculent. You know what I'm talking about? And coming at you in that fashion. If that's a man, he's not dealing with that, because he doesn't have to. Now, see, these other men out here, they'll ridicule you and call you names and misappropriate Jezebel and other adjectives to throw at you, because they don't have the confidence or the wherewithal to say, this woman just doesn't fit into where I want to go with my life, so I will not entertain her. You know what I'm talking about? And that's it. Because a woman can be as dominant as she wants. Everybody can be whatever they want to be. To be 100% honest with you, that doesn't mean other people have to want that in their life, though. That's what people get upset about. I don't care what nobody want to do. I don't care what nobody want to be. You can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. That does not mean someone else has to accept that because that's what you think they should do. Just like the Lord said, you can do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm talking about? He said you could choose good, you could choose evil, you could choose life, you can choose. He said you be whatever you want to be. But what have we told him? What he should accept? He's already told you what he'll accept and what he won't accept. But you can do what you want. I don't understand why people don't understand that and with that stuff. Because that's how I look at it. Hey, that woman wants to be dominant, then let her be dominant. But if that's not what I want to deal with, then I ain't dealing with it. And you can't make me feel bad about not dealing with it. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know why that's hard for people. Why you want to sit here and talk about the lady instead of just saying, oh, that's not for me. Just like this here. If you are a weak, passive, docile man, that woman don't want to deal with that. You can't make her want to deal with that because you think, well, these are good traits for me. They might be, but they're not for her, though. And that's okay. No, it's what it is. What we have with it, man? Dre, what's happening on? Yeah, man, that's all that is, man. Shoot, nigga crazy.
We go 2 Corinthians 11. We go.
Yeah, keep on going, because we didn't get the verse for you.
Oh, I'll give you the definition for simplicity.
What definition you got? Say always the pride and snare. No, it can be pride, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Living in American society specifically, I think we're fashioned with a thought process and mentality that because I'm a certain type of way and I believe it's good, that other people should accept me as I am for what I want, never considering that this person might not want that. You know what I'm saying? Meaning if you think you good in whatever capacity that you're operating in, you think somebody else should, you think it's something wrong with them if they say, no, I don't want that. Because you convince yourself that this is good. This society reinforces that. So when people actually say, no, I don't want that, you respond negatively because you have been told that these are good attributes, these are good traits, whatever the case is, whatever that is, and that people will want you. And then when you go outside in real life, you find out nobody wants that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants that. We've had this conversation plenty times. As much as you may hear society say if men act like this and men talk like that and men do this and men do that, the women will like them, and then men do it and then they report back that the women don't like them when they do this. They pick men who don't act like that. Then those young men are confused. Because you told me to act like this and the women would appreciate me, but now the women find me repugnant. They find me utterly distasteful. I'm being rejected or cheated on. They don't understand. It's the same way that some women may be told to behave like this and do like this and do like that. And then they run across men and these men reject them. They're confused. You say, what if you have trouble finding the in-between place? You see, a man is not dominating a woman if he's beating on her. You know what I'm saying? If a man is beating on a woman, that's not dom. But let me tell you something, man. That's guerrilla pimping. See, true pimping is that you can influence, because that's one of the aspects we read about. You can influence, and because having control over something is not. See, people say he's trying to control me. No one can actually control you. You know what I'm talking about? Because nobody can make you do anything. You have to have the desire to want to do it. But I also have to have control over situations. I mean, I got things handled. See, we're not trying to handle grown people. We are not animal keepers. We don't work at the zoo. We don't work at the pound. We're not handling animals. We're dealing with people. So if you're a dominant individual, you would be able to influence people with your words, thoughts, and ideas that they will buy into it. If you have to physically put your hands on this woman, you don't have dominance over her. You really lack dominance, and you're trying to exert your will by physical force, which means you don't have the influence over this woman, and something's wrong with you as a man on a multiple of fronts. But dominant, you are not. Now, if you look at a man, he says, okay, he lets her run the house. See, that's going to have to come with nuance. Is he allowing her, is he delegating certain things that so he can focus his energy on something else because he trusts in her skill, her ability, her wisdom, her decision making to handle these tasks without his interference? Because he knows that she's going to labor on his behalf in fulfilling the vision to benefit the whole? Or is he just incompetent, lazy, stupid, and weak and say, here, you do all this stuff because I don't want to? You know what I'm saying? Or are you trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? What is the proper adjective? I don't have any other adjective other than you just selfishly want to throw tasks on this woman simply because you don't want to do them. You know what I'm talking about? And now it seems like she's run. It's not that she's capable or incapable. It's just the fact that you don't want to do it and you feel like she should because she the woman. See, that's bad leadership in and of itself. You know what I'm talking about? That's just terrible. That's just terrible. So it's different. So that's a nuanced type of deal because a man can let his woman run X, Y, Z, and it's because he knows that if she's there, I'm there. Because we have the same mind and we're working on the same accord to the same goal, same place, same objective. Because see, I am a believer in delegation. If I delegate somebody a task, then I'm going to leave them alone to facilitate that task. Because if I didn't believe that they could do it, then why would I tell them to go do it? I don't believe in micromanaging and interfering with people that you send to do something. And that means anyone who's subordinate to them in that task, I will not allow you to tortuously interfere with what they got going on. You will not usurp them. You will not do anything. What they say, go. And if you don't like it, then get the hell on. You know what I'm saying? And it's just that simple. Because if you're going to be in a position of leadership and you set people to do stuff, then you have to back them up if people try to buck up against them to reinforce the power and authority that you've given unto them. Because if you don't do that, that is going to cause the people to not respect anything that they say, which is going to cause more problems, which is going to cause schisms, rifts, lack of a multitude of things. If you don't trust somebody to do something, then don't give them the task to do it. But if you put somebody to do something, that means you trust in their ability to do it. Like I can send you to do something. I ain't gonna know nothing about what you got going on other than what you tell me. If you came and asked me, man, Civic, Civic doing something. Man, I don't know. I ain't talked to him. I don't know nothing about that. Ask him. There's a reason why I set him over that. He'll let me know what I need to know when I need to know it. Don't ask me, ask him. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's his job. That's his thing. That's his department. Leave him alone. That's how that works. But that's a part of the reason why that works is when you have the influence and control, you know what I'm talking about? That means you've influenced them to do things according to the vision that you laid out, but letting them use their talents and abilities to facilitate it and how it works best for them. That's it. It's not hard. Yeah, you got to beat on a woman, man. Man, that ain't no dominant, man. You's a buster. Man, if you got to beat on her, you ain't got no influence over her. And influence ain't a bad thing. Yeah, influence ain't a bad thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to act like they ain't influenced. Man, you've been influenced by a lot of people. Just because you, like I say, black people love to say, be a leader, not a follower. And all they think that mean is the, well, if they go left, I'm going to walk right. That don't mean you're not a follower. That just means you didn't go over there. You know what I'm talking about? That doesn't mean you're a leader. But to influence, by definition, everybody, is their capacity to have an effect on the character development or behavior or someone or something or the effect itself. For sure, I got you, bro. Notice what he said, man. The character or development or behavior or someone or something. It's a multitude of people that had an influence on your character. It's a multitude of people who had an influence on your development. Man and woman. That's what it means, and that's a part of dominance. If you are influential, then you are assisting these people in their development of their character, of their emotional capacity, of their behavior. And if you can't do that, then you're not dominant. What benefit you having on somebody's character development, punching them in the face, cussing her out and calling her names? That's crazy. You know what I'm talking about? That's just absolutely, utterly, and abjectly insane. But come on, Sylvia, where we at? Come on, 2 Corinthians 11 and
was haplotes, that is singleness, simplicity, sincerity, mental honesty, the virtue of one who is free from pretense and hypocrisy.
Free from pretense and hypocrisy.
Not self-seeking.
So before they ate from that tree, she was free from pretense and hypocrisy and self-seeking.
Got generosity, not self-seeking. Openness of heart manifesting itself by generosity.
Go ahead. That's not a bad thing. And that doesn't mean that the woman is objectively evil. It means that she was flesh and blood and he catered towards a weakness or a frailty. That's it. So he's telling you, as a man, he's referring to you as he's referring to Eve. Don't let Satan corrupt you from that. Because that's what he gonna do. Come on with it.
Say, for if he that come preach another Yahushua.
Now he come and tell you somebody preach another gospel, whom we have
not preached.
You might what?
Or if you receive another ruach, which you have not received.
You might what?
Or another gospel, which you have not accepted.
Whatever.
You might well bear with.
Leave them niggas alone. If they come and preaching a different Yahushua than what's in Genesis to Malachi, or different good news or glad tidings, or they come in with a spirit that's contrary to the Ruach HaKodesh, which you receive, but leave that nigga alone. Because that's what Satan came with, didn't it? They just didn't have the spiritual wherewithal at that time to know that. See, again, I'm just going back to the point because, you know, dudes get all caught up. The woman. That woman flesh and blood just like you, nigga. She had desire just like you. He just played on that. You know why he played? Well, you know, that's testimony stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? Adam, son of God, so on and so forth. But at the same token, he attacked her in the one place where she could be attacked. Now, I've been a firm believer in this long before I was in the Word. See, Satan gonna always try to get at strong men through a woman, usually his woman. You know why? Because most dudes are more inclined to capitulate to their woman in a multitude of different areas. You know what I'm saying? And as a man, you can't do that. See, some people hear that and they'll be like, oh, so you saying not to please your wife? If that's what you heard, you probably don't like your old lady anyway. What we talking about is you cannot compromise your purpose, plans, and directives for God, for anyone, not even your wife. You know what I'm saying? Can't do that. Can't do it. Truth be told, if that woman fool with you, she ain't gonna want you to do that anyway. And that's something that most dudes don't learn. If that woman roll with you for real, I'm talking about really, really roll with you. It's gonna be two things that she gonna have respect for. Number one is your time. Because she know that's the one thing in life that you could never get back. So if she know that you are a man of purpose, a man of motion, if you would, then she understands how valuable your time is. She will not seek to waste your time by things of frivolous nature if she know that you out here handling business for real. I ain't talking about just getting up and going to work. I'm talking about you are doing something of a serious nature. She gonna have respect for your time, and she gonna have respect for whatever you put in your time to. She not gonna want you to compromise that. She's not gonna want you to indiscriminately and miscellaneously waste your time and energy or cast something to the side that's gonna slow you up because she has a desire to see you win. See, this ain't on no stuff these niggas on here talking about. This is if someone genuinely fool with you. So if this woman genuinely believes and loves God and genuinely loves you and believes you love and serve God, then she's not going to ask you to compromise that. She wouldn't even insinuate it. It wouldn't even be a thought that would come into her mind for her to even bring some nonsense like that to you. But if she do, she don't fool with you. You know what I'm saying? See, you going to be worrying about all, no, she just don't fool with you. And that's the type of stuff you supposed to figure that out before you marry her. He said, and honestly, people say, why did Adam not save Eve, not realizing he did? What do they think the second Adam did for us? Absolutely. They don't realize that in him laying down his life because they felt like he was supposed to stop her from doing that. Not actually looking at you can't, and that goes what's in 1 Corinthians 7. We didn't read it last week when he say, man, can you save your wife? Wife, can you save your husband? You cannot stop someone from disobeying God. You can influence them through from the imparting of information, the giving of wisdom and understanding, but ultimately the choice and decision to do anything rests with that individual. And that's what people have a problem with. Because they felt like that man should have jumped in here. No, Satan. So what would happen when he come back the next day or a week from then? She's still going to be faced with that decision. Are you going to obey or disobey? That's it. Say people badmouth Eve. Nothing. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, we done talk about Eve being Yasharal ad nauseum. That's why I ain't even mentioned it. You know what I'm talking about? That's real talk, though. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm saying this in regards to people are human. They have to make a decision. You can't make a decision for your son. You can't make a decision for your daughter. You can't make a decision for your mama or daddy. You can't make a decision for your wife. You can't make a decision for your friends. The only person you can make a decision for is you.
That's why you just read that, James. Everybody getting drawn away.
Everybody is drawn away and enticed by their own lust. And it says that's what her desire was. Adam may have not had that desire, so therefore Satan couldn't attack him with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know how many conversations Omar done had with people like, why didn't he stop her? How is he gonna stop her?
That's what she wanted to do.
If that's what she wanted to do, that's what she was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? That's what people get the game twisted at. What do I mean by that? You think you can stop that woman from having sex with another man? You think you can stop that man from having sex with another woman? You can't stop them. You can try to put up all the rules and parameters, the no's, the yeses, and everything you want. But if that's what that person want to do, that's what they're going to do. Now, Emma, I was working. I didn't hear everything. But I did hear one part, I think, when one of the sisters say, I don't trust her. Talking about she didn't want her man being friends with another. Let me tell you something, man. It don't matter. It ain't about not trusting her, that woman. That woman can't get no penis from me unless I give it to her. Straight up. So if I don't give it to her, she can't get it. It don't matter what she do. It don't matter if she rub her mammary glands on my arm. It don't matter if she get butt naked in the room. It don't matter if it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's what people don't be realizing. It ain't about if that man want to have sex with that woman getting sexed. If that man don't want to do that, there is absolutely nothing that woman can do to make him have sex with her. Nothing. I mean nothing. See, this is why I get in that with that one, that in me personally. They say it was his fault because he the head. He should have told. She already had the word, so she already knew what to do. She recited the word back to him. She did what she wanted to do. But nevertheless, let me tell you something, right? If you don't want a woman with male friends, guess what you don't do? You don't marry her. If you see she got male friends and that's an issue for you, then don't mess with her. You see how easy that is? You don't try to get with him and be with him for 8 months, 9 months, 3 years, 4 years, and then tell him to cut him off. If that is an issue for you, you don't even get that far. Oh, no, I can't do that. Because I'm not going to ask you to drop your friends. That's your friend, fine. Keep him as your friend. I don't get down with that. See, that's what it means. You can't, man, like, I'm not changing nobody. You understand what I'm telling you? If I popped up and I had 3, 4 female friends, and you say, I don't want no man with no female friends, then you supposed to be like, okay, mess with him. Because I don't fool with that. Instead of trying to get, because you know what ends up happening when you do that? People start being duplicitous. Now they're going to start doing stuff behind your back, all this other extra stuff. You know what I'm talking about? And this, that, there, and the third, because they didn't want to stop doing it. I tell you this all the time. Just get people who align with what you want. Like I heard bro earlier, my woman can't wear no weave. Do you let your, how about you just pick a woman who don't wear weave if you don't like weave? You see how easy that is? Don't try to get with a woman who wear weave and then try to get her to stop. No, if she wear weave, let her wear it. Get you a woman who don't. I don't know why that's so hard. Why do you niggas want to change people into being what you want? Just find somebody who already doing that. If you vegan, don't meet the dude and try to change him vegan. Just get a nigga who vegan. Then you ain't got to do nothing. You're already aligned. Because guess what happens if you get that dude and you try to change him? He going to resent you. Guess what happens if you get with that woman and you try to change her? She going to resent you. And then you wonder why y'all bump heads and you're arguing and you're fussing and you're fighting and you're doing all this other extra stuff because she is, that's what they hear when they say, I get back to being me. I can't be myself around you. That's where those statements come in at because you want this person to be someone other than who they are. That's why you hear women say that. I can't be myself because you want her to be somebody else. Nah, man, let her stand up and let her hair down, uncuff her, and let her be her. And if who she is not what you want, why you with her? Like, come on. Like me personally, I'm not dealing with no woman with no disrespectful mouth. You know what I'm talking about? So if I see you got a disrespectful mouth, guess what we're going to do? We're going to cut this short right now. This can't go no further. You don't be with them for 5 years hoping they're going to stop doing that. That would be, what about the grace? That's not my job to apply grace to somebody that's coming into my life. What is wrong with you people? That's how you end up with people and you in knockdown dragouts because you think you're supposed to show grace to somebody. You show grace to somebody in general life interaction, not who you choose to be your spouse. That's dumb. That is dumb. That's retarded. It's idiotic. It is asinine. It is completely imbecilic to say I should show grace to a nigga who don't work. You know, we all in the low spots. You got to show grace. No, go find a man who has a job. Not hope he gonna work and then you mad because 10 years done went by and he never got a job. Because you know why I said it? Because he's impernicious and mendicant. Nigga ain't got no money and he begging all the time. And he begging you. And you don't like it. My God, today. Come on, Sid. Where we at with it?
2 Corinthians 11:5.
Go ahead.
Say, for I suppose I was not a whit behind the very chiefest apostles.
That's good. Come on back to Hosea 2 and 19. Look, I live my whole adult life like that, man. I'm not trying to make it. I promise you your life be easier if you just let people be who they are. We had this conversation the other night. Accept people for who they are. Shalom, RT, and not who you want them to be. If you stop being idealistic and begin to be pragmatic, meaning being realistic, things will be better. You have to see people for who they are, not who you want them to be. You know how many dudes done caught up because they wanted to see a woman as a lady and she was a whore? You know what I'm talking about? They didn't want to see she was a whore. That woman is a whore. She's not going to be a lady because that's not who she is. You know how many women seen dudes where he wasn't no man, he was a certified buster? Certified buster. He's never going to be that man. I'm going to be honest with you, man. There's no love on this earth outside of the love of God that can make somebody be who you want them to be. You know what I'm saying? None. You cannot love a bum into being a producer. You ain't got enough love. Your vagina ain't that good. I promise you, that's not going to happen. You know how we know this? Because there's many a woman who's tried it and failed. Now, you hear the term, you can't turn a whore into a housewife. There's a reason for that, because she doesn't have the mentality for that. See, it's not about the person per se, it's the mentality. If they don't have that mentality, your love and whatever you doing, your penis ain't good enough to turn her into something she's not. That's why I say it's only the love of God, because the love of God, the only thing can renew somebody's mind. You can't do that. You don't have that type of power. But the real deal is, we think we do. You know what I'm talking about? And that's why you have all these people complaining day in, day out. And he ain't never had a job. He won't work. How long you been with him? 6.5 years? It took you 6 years to realize this nigga wasn't gonna work? Baby, you should have figured that out in 6 months. No man of any level of self-respect will intentionally go that long without doing something for himself. Intentionally? Just like, nah, I ain't gonna do it. Go ahead, man.
And I'll betroth you unto me forever. Yea, I'll betroth you unto me in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercy.
Hold on. What did he say he'll betroth you in?
In righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercy.
That's 3 things.
I'll even
hold on. If he betrothing to you in what?
Righteousness.
No, you don't want to hear that more. He said righteousness, judgment, loving kindness, and mercies. What that sound like to you? That sounds like Matthew 23 and 23. That sounds like Jeremiah 9 and 23. That he said that's what he's going to espouse himself to you in. The righteousness of faith, judgment, loving kindness, and mercy. Hold on, look at verse 20. What did he say he'll betroth you in?
I'll even betroth you unto me in faithfulness. You shall know you.
That's what the new covenant is. Loving kindness, righteousness, mercy, judgment, and faithfulness. See, come on right over here real quick. Like, man, give me Romans 10 and 5, man. You could make it 1. It ain't going to hurt nobody. We finna wind this down for the eating anyway.
Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to Elohim for Yasharal is that they might be saved.
That they might be what?
Saved.
That what Moses prayed for, ain't it? Okay.
For I bear them record that they have a zeal of Elohim,
but not
according to knowledge. For they, being ignorant of Elohim's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness.
Now y'all know this is the dichotomy between Genesis 15 and 6 and Deuteronomy 6 and 25. They go to establish their own righteousness, which is Deuteronomy 6 and 25. But they haven't submitted themselves to God's righteousness, which is Genesis 15 and 6. That is the righteousness of faith. You think you righteous just because you kept this man instructions. But he told you in Deuteronomy 32 and 20, what, Civic? These are children in whom have no faith. And what did he say he just betrothed you in? In faithfulness. In Amuna, Amath, or Aman. One of them 3 words is used. Hold on. I'll tell you in just a moment. And that's what people don't want to hear. Because this man say if he engaged you in faithfulness, then he desires for you to be what, Civic? Faithful your doggone self. And what do you have there? You have Amuna, firmness, fidelity, steadfastness, steadiness, stability. That which is stable don't move. So he betrothed you in something that don't move, like he told you that the Kadash Mount Zion, which is unmovable. The word of God, which don't move because he don't lie. And this is what he said he betrothed you in. Now, when you turn around and you look at loving kindness, which is a word that all of you should already know. who already been around here, you know righteousness is sadat, you know judgment is mishpat, and you should know that loving kindness is chesed. What is chesed? That's goodness, that's kindness, that's faithfulness. What did he tell you? Yahuwah Elohim, merciful, gracious, long-suffering, abundant in goodness and truth, showing mercy unto thousands, forgiving sin, iniquity, and transgression. And he told you in Jeremiah 31:3 that he would draw you with loving kindness. That's what he said he would draw you with. And then if you're dealing with mercies, you're dealing with rakam, and that is compassion. Well, what does he tell you in Hebrews? Who can have compassion on those who are ignorant and out of the way. So when you go back, and that takes us back to the Jeremiah 18:4, that the potter has power over the clay that was marred in his hand, so he made one that was upright. So one piece of clay was corrupted, so he made another one that was yashar, or that was straight. So when you look at that in the dichotomy from the first Adam to the second Adam, you seeing again the difference between Deuteronomy 6:25 and Genesis 15:6. And for whatever reason, people do not want to look at the righteousness of faith. I do know the reason, because they don't believe. See, people look at believe in the wrong context of what the book tell you that is. That's understanding steadfastness, fidelity, and faithfulness of him that spoke. Period. That's it. It's not some blind faith. Oh, I just believe this here. You believe it because you know the individual who spoke it. See, these individuals don't know the person who spoke it. That's why he said, Kadash Abba, they have not known you, but I've known you. We know in Hebrew the word know is what? Yada, to know by experience. They have not experienced this man, so therefore they don't know him. And since they don't know him, then they don't trust him. Since they don't trust him, they have no confidence in him. Therefore, they don't believe. So they will be unfaithful because they don't believe that he is faithful. You understand what I'm telling you? Like this here, man. It is very difficult for you to have belief in someone you don't know because you don't know them. You know what I'm talking about? So how could you have any steadfastness and reliability into someone you don't know? But you know the mistake that a lot of people make in the United States of America? You put fidelity and steadfastness into people you don't know, and then you're shocked when they do things contrary to that. But nigga, you didn't know them. You did that to yourself. I'm going to tell you something I told somebody this the other day. I probably told y'all this before. It is one thing that I do not do. I do not have expectations of anyone and nothing. You know what I'm saying? You know, the only expectations I have for people is for them to hold to what it is that they profess that they stand for. Or if you like I say, if you hire a carpet cleaner for a job, then you have the expectation that they're going to clean the carpet. I don't have an expectation for them to do 4 other things that I would have hoped they would have did, but I didn't tell them. I say that because I done been on jobs and people like, oh, I just thought you would do that. Why would you think I would do that if you didn't ask me to do that? Because you had an expectation of me doing, you put that in your mind, now you mad at me. That's your fault because you didn't communicate nor express that. That's on you. If I marry a woman, the only expectation I would have for her is to fulfill the duties of a wife. That's it. And if you lay out plainly what are all the duties it is to be your wife, then then if you put 15 other things in your brain for her to do and she didn't do them, whose fault is that? You put the expectations on this woman. Come on, man. I don't do none of that. I don't do none of that. Because you know why? It ain't fair to the other person. For you to have all these expectations of people outside of the role that they're participating in. You know what I'm saying? When somebody come and say, I want a fellowship with y'all, I ain't got no expectations of them people. Other than you say you want to serve God, that's the only expectation I got for you. I'm not sitting here thinking about what you are doing or what you're not doing. You know why? That's not my business until it's my business. And if you don't make it my business, then it's not my business. You know why? Because the only thing we can do is use the word to influence your character or your development, and that's it. But having expectations, you come in here, you think, oh, the people gonna do this. Then when they don't do it, what you see, they niggas be mad. What you mad for? One thing I know about the word, man, people come and go. And I don't mean that because they leave that they stop serving God. I mean that people come and go. But I'll be honest with you. If you're not being tyrannical, oppressive, and disrespectful, most people leave because they didn't want to serve God in the first place. I'm talking about if it's a standard. Now, if ain't no standard in place, people just going from spot to spot. But if it's a standard in place, oh yeah, people going to leave because that's not what they wanted to do. Read 1 Corinthians 4 and 6. You say you're trying to develop in the word and faith while dealing with stuff. So I definitely not living up. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, because why put expectations on somebody? I don't know unless you express it, I don't know what your background is. I don't know what you've experienced. I don't know none of that. So throwing expectations on people makes it difficult to execute because now they feel like that they should be playing like a 10-year veteran. That ain't fair to them. You know what I'm saying? But that also goes back to what we talked about earlier, being all things to all men that you might save some. Having the skill and the wisdom enough to know that you can't do people like that. Yeah, you can't do people like that. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? The only expectation you got for somebody, fear God. There it is right there, Hobby. I expect people to be who they show me they are. That's it. That's the only thing you can. Just like I told you what that clip what DMX said. He said, I trust people to be who they are. If you do that, you'll be fine. I've been a pragmatist my entire life. That means I am a realist. I accept things for what they are, not for what I want them to be, not for what I wish them to be. You can't hear me good? Somebody else let me know if y'all can hear, because I jumped with tripping earlier. I ain't know. Dave, what's happening, man? I ain't know if my volume was good. My nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's all you can do. And that's it. Life easier that way. You know what I mean? Yes, ma'am. No, she said she got storms there, so it could be the storms. That's all, man. That's why you get disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Because you've put people on pedestals, you've created something, and you're not accepting people for who they are. You know, you could love people a whole lot easier if you just accept them for who they are. You know what I'm saying? And not try to make them be who you think they should be. But just love them for who they are. And that's it. That's it. Life easier that way. Promise you it is. You can have better friendships. You can have better relationships if you just accept people for who you are, for who they are. So you getting hit by storms too? Well, y'all catching wreck. All this been around here is hot, and hot. Thankfully, I ain't been outside. Because we've been in Ulta Beauty all week. They had doing that. Now it's time for me to constructively get my money. Send them the paperwork. See how long it take to get paid from that. Come on, man. Where we at here?
1 Corinthians 4 and 6.
Yeah, run that, bro. Put that in.
Saying these things, brethren, I have in a figure transferred to myself and to Apollos for your sakes, that you might learn in us not to think above that which is written.
Yeah, I've been telling you that. Don't think of people above that which is written.
That no one of you be puffed up from one against another.
Look here, man. A lot of people think a lot of things. Boy, I'm talking about listen here, man. Boy, who you see on this, boy, I'm the same nigga when this camera go off. I say that all the time, boy. I ain't got to put on and I don't care if you like me. Don't care if you do. What I mean by that is my level of secureness with who I am as an individual is not going to be swayed whether people like me or not. Because I like me, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And what does that mean? That I know who I am. I know what I can do. I know what I can't do. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. And I'm comfortable with that. I don't need to make you think that I'm anything other than who I am. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna blow no smoke up your behind, and I ain't with no nonsense. You know what I'm talking about? Meaning I'm not finna entertain no filing from you. For what? You keep it real with me, I keep it real with you. What does that mean? We can have a conversation. You know how many times me and Fat Boy done sat in that trap house, man, and had disagreements, man. I'm talking about where people thought that me and this nigga were finna fight. Nigga, this my brother. What is you talking about? It ain't that serious. You know what I'm saying? Because I love this man. And that's what most people have a problem with. They think just because there's a disagreement, an impasse, you ain't seeing eye to eye, that this person don't love you, or this person don't care about you. No, it just means you don't agree about this. That's it. I mean, this nigga done had that plenty of time. You know, this nigga was mad with me for about 2 weeks in the trial because I was like, man, black people, some of the dumbest people on the face of the planet. I'll never forget that when we was on 23rd in Buckman in the trial. Matter of fact, Emma, I had just finished reading a Dr. York scroll at that time. I can't remember which one, but I forgot what we were talking about. It was me, him, and Big Dog. And I was like, yeah, boy, black people, some of the dumbest people on the earth. And he was like, man, how could you say that? And you be talking about that black power stuff. I said, black people. I say, nigga, that includes me. And as I'm saying this, I'm telling a nigga, we're literally sitting in a drug house selling crack and weed as I'm making this statement. How could I exclude myself from the group? You know what I'm saying? You know what he told me when I got out of prison? This happened like 2003. So you talking about 6-7 years later, he was like, bro, I see why you said that then. I understand. You know what I'm saying? I forgot what precipitated me saying that, but I had to literally tell him because I'm not separating myself from the group. Bro, we're sitting in a house with guns, crack, and weed and a Rottweiler in the back. How dumb are we? You know what I'm talking about? I can't sit here and say we're of the utmost intelligence and we're participating in something that could get our freedom taken or our life. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. And what I mean by dumb at that particular instance, now that I think about it, is how gullible and easily we can be pushed and swayed in whatever direction the people with power want you to go in order for you to respond and react how they want you to. The current dissension or argument mislead people into thinking it's complete blatant loyalty when the testing comes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. But the reality is, if there's a bond there for real, like if y'all fool with each other for real, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I told you plenty of time, man. The love got to be greater than the disagreement. That's how you know that in Proverbs 10 and 12. You know what I'm saying? Love covers a multitude of sins. He that seeketh love covereth transgressions. The love that Yahuwah had for this people was greater than the offense. And most people don't have that thought process because they stuck on the offense. That's why he say in 1 Corinthians 13, love never fails. When there's love there, it don't fail. He said, where there's prophecies, there's fail. He said, where there's doctrines, there's fail. Where there's tongues, there fail. That's what the man told you. The love of Yahuwah never failed. Because though Yasharal was in the offense, his love for Yasharal was greater than the offense. Though Adam or man was in the offense, his love for man was greater than the offense. And people have a hard time encapsulating that in a mind because they don't have that level of love in them for other people. Now, maybe sometimes Yahuwah put you in positions to dealing with certain people for you to understand the love of Yahuwah. When you read Hosea 3, he told him, go love a woman beloved of a friend, an adulteress, so you can know the love of Yahuwah towards Yasharal. Now, how many men are going to be willing to marry a whore? But the issue was not him marrying an adulterous whore. It was for him to understand that I love y'all like I want you to love this woman over here. And if you can understand the love that I have for y'all and you're dealing with this woman over here, you'll grow in wisdom and understanding at an exponential level. More people don't know what that looks like. That's why people can't see the love that Adam had for his wife when he died for her. I've told you that plenty of times, if a nigga come from an unloving environment, he will not recognize the love of God in the book when he see it. That's why they call Adam a simp. That's why they call Adam all these different things. Now realizing you calling the second Adam that, dummy. Because the same thing you saying why Adam did that, you boasting and bragging about the second Adam doing it. What make the second Adam different than the first? They did the same thing. They laid their life down for a disobedient, contentious, and rebellious woman. That's what they did. Now, with Eve, she was contentious against her own, the will of God, not her husband. And what all does it mean to contend, to strive against? Her flesh was striving against the instruction. How do you know that? Because she said the instruction to the serpent. But then it said it was a tree that looked good to the eye. That's why he say the flesh lusteth after the spirit, that you ought do the things that you ought not to do. You know what I'm saying? That's all that is. That's all that happened. She wasn't contentious with God per se. She wasn't contentious with Adam. She was contentious with herself. Her flesh was battling the instruction. She rebelled against the instruction. How many of y'all done did that? And you gonna have something to say about her? That's crazy. That's insane. But guess what? Adam's love for his wife was greater than her transgression. Because he was willing to give up everything he had for that woman. And Yahushua did the same thing. And you got a nerve to talk about Adam. That's why most of these niggas ought to go to hell. But I'm telling you, man, if your daddy didn't love you, if your mama didn't love you, if your family didn't love you, if your friends didn't love you, it's going to be hard for you to recognize genuine love. You understand what I'm telling you? It's going to be hard. Because it's foreign to you. You know, most people think somebody telling them about themselves, mean they don't look. Somebody got to love you to pull your coattail and let you know, hell no, man, you can't be doing that. You get mad. How many times your people told you, I chastise you because I care about you. If I didn't care about you, I'd let you do whatever you wanted to do. How you got people around you that don't pull you to the side and say, boy, you know you dead wrong. You know you dead wrong. Now, that's something I want to mention, but you know what I'm saying? We one sound, one band with this particular matter. I can't go into no details until the time appointed. At least not on camera. You know what I'm saying? I can tell y'all about it tomorrow. But it's a nigga who got caught up. His friends supposed to told him about himself. And these niggas ain't said nothing. Not publicly anyway. Them niggas supposed to talk. See, this is what these niggas get caught up. I don't care nothing about being no Israelite cuz. I don't care nothing about no organization. I don't care about none of that. Man, if you my nigga, you my friend, my brother, I say I love you, I fool with you. And boy, you over here doing X, Y, Z. Boy, I'm finna say something to you, cuz. At least, man, what you got going on, bro? What you got going on, my nigga? Man, you tripping. But you know why dudes don't do that? Because their friends didn't do that with them before the word. Let me tell you something, man. We was committing crimes, you understand me? And some of my friends would still be like, oh, boy, what is you doing? But that boy used to say, oh, no, baby, what you doing, baby? Now, you know who that is? Yeah, I seen the video. The boy ran out of LA and he said, oh, no, what you doing, baby? Oh, no. Listen, man, when I first got out of prison, man, ran across a nigga we grew up with, went to school with. That boy was doing some type of old bank scam. I'm broke. I need some bread. That boy said, boy, don't you do that, boy. I said, boy, I need to get this money. Boy, you understand what I'm talking about? I said, man, if I do it like this here, I have plausible deniability. This is what I told him. It's a true story. Man, I'm like this here, man. He like, boy, don't do that, boy. Well, you stupid as hell if you do that. He left it at that. That junk went south. And he said, I told you not to do that junk. I ain't go to jail for it. I just lost the money that I had remaining in my bank account. You know what I'm saying? But I told her, I said, boy, nigga broke, boy, coming home, boy, I ain't got no job neither. I had to take that chance. But he just ain't go along with that. He say, man, nigga, you stupid as hell if you do that. Like straight up. It'd been time to do like, boy, you fooling with that woman, man, you better leave that woman alone. Some people listen, some people don't. But if you do something, boy, your homeboy don't say nothing to you, man, you gotta watch that if your friends co-sign everything you do, man. Everything you do, cuz. Don't nobody, just because somebody say, did you think about this? That don't mean they hating on you. Maybe they trying to see if you thought about it from every angle because they concerned with the outcome and your well-being. You ever thought about that? Nah, you didn't, because you's a selfish, ignorant bastard. So yeah, that nigga couldn't be my friend, boy. I'll tell you that right now. That nigga couldn't be my friend. That nigga have been mad with me. He'd have stopped fooling with me. Because I'd have been like, man, I don't want to, look here, man. One thing I don't want to hear, man, don't tell me about what somebody else did that led to something you did or didn't do. I don't want to hear that. I promise you I don't want to hear that. Now, you could explain to me, hey, this person did this here. This is how I responded. Then we have to determine, was that the proper response? Maybe it was in some instances. Maybe it wasn't. There's nothing wrong with stating, yeah, see, we did this here, man. I responded like this here. Now, looking back on it, that probably wasn't the best response. You know what I'm saying? You could do that. That's not shifting accountability. That's not putting blame. That's not playing the victim. You know what I'm saying? That's not none of that. That's you being an adult enough to say, this is what the cause was. This was the effect. Was the effect equal to the cause? Was I justified in this behavior? Was there a better way for me to handle this? Or am I just dead wrong? They don't want to do that, so. You know why they don't want to do that? Because these niggas evil. Why they evil, Civic? Why they don't want to do the right thing?
I'm talking about right now. The Lord made them right.
The Lord made them that way. My God, today. Not want to do it. All right, so where we at, man?
We go 1 Corinthians 4:6.
We good with that. Come on back, man. Jose 2, we got to get these people out of here. Jose 2:20.
Say, I will even betroth you unto me in faithfulness. You shall know Yahuwah.
Oh, no, you was in Romans 10. I'm sorry. Now, we'll probably come back to this Jose 2 with some of these epistle letters and tie this verse 20, 19, and 20 together from where he coming with these letters. This is one of the first parts of it that I'm going to start with. I ain't going to go all the way to the how can you hear without a preacher part. We ain't going to go that far. But go ahead.
Verse 3.
Go ahead.
Say, for they being ignorant of Elohim's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of Elohim. For Mashiach is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believes.
See, he's the purpose of the law to everyone that believes. So what was the purpose of the law? To get you to the redemption, which means that you would be betrothed to him in the righteousness, the judgment, the loving kindness, and the mercies, and the faithfulness. These are tangible things that you can see through conduct. Remember, these are the things that he said he delights in. Remember, he says, I am Yahuwah, that exercise loving kindness, righteousness, and judgment. These are the things that I take pleasure in. This is what he take pleasure in. So it makes sense that he would betroth his wife to him this way. So if he take pleasure in him, guess what his wife would take pleasure in? Go ahead.
Say, for Moses described the righteousness which is of the law, that the man which do those things shall live by them.
Go ahead.
But the righteousness which is of faith speak on this wise.
How I speak?
Say not in your heart, who shall ascend into Shaman? This is bringing Mashiach down.
This is Deuteronomy 30 that he quoted. It was Leviticus 18, if I'm not mistaken, when he said the righteousness that Moses spoke of. Go ahead.
For who shall descend into the deep? That is to bring him up Hamashiach from the dead. But what saith it? The word is near you, in your mouth, in your heart. That is the word of faith which we preach.
Pause. So that's where verse 19 and 20 going to take us to. We're going to stop right there and come back to Hosea 2. So you can hear the verse that he was quoting in Romans 9, 2 and 21.
And it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith Yahuwah. I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. And the earth shall hear the corn, and the wine, and the oil. They shall hear Jezreel. And I will sow her unto me in the earth. I will have mercy upon her that have not obtained mercy. And I will say to them which were not my people, you are my people, and they shall say, you are my Elohim.
You know how we could go? Because I go back to the conversation we had about when he said, I wrote you a bill of divorce. Once he wrote you a bill of divorce, you ain't his wife no more, and he ain't your husband. You know what I'm talking about? That's what people don't realize. When he put him out, he gave him a bill of divorce. When he said, you not my people, you ain't my old lady no more. But then he said, I'm going to bring you back. I have espoused you to Hamashiach. That's why he say he can do. How does he betroth him? It goes back to that conversation we had about Romans 7. He say, brethren, I write unto you those that know the law, that a woman is bound to her husband as long as he lives. But he say, but if her husband be dead, she be free to marry another. Come on back to Romans 9. Amen, Joseph, man. Listen, and you can see how all these letters tie in to the gospel, to the plan, and what was written aforetime. Because it's just linking back to the same stuff for you to understand the love of Yahuwah. But like I said, man, from what I'm able to ascertain is that a lot of disdain for the Christian church, that these niggas don't want to look at the faith of Yahuwah and the love of Yahuwah because you don't want to sound like a Christian because you think that's soft and weak. I don't know how a nigga think love weak. That's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. When the book tell you love is strong as death, that means love ain't weak, you stupid bastard. You know what I'm saying? You know why these niggas think love is weak? Because they look at love from an emotional standpoint. So of course they look at it as weak. But y'all have mercy on us all. Boy, my grandma didn't live long in comparison to my age. But what she did tell me is love is an action word. It's something that you do. So if love is something that you do, how could it be weak? It would be backed behind intention, consistency, desire, and dedication. So how could it be weak? Ain't nothing weak by dedication. You gotta desire to love. I tell y'all this all the time, man. It takes more energy not to love somebody than to love them. You have to go out of your way to not show love. That is a conscious effort. It's not difficult to show love, but when you ain't been loved, you ain't gonna know how to do it. You ain't gonna want to do it, and you're not gonna. Let me tell you something. People who are unloved, they don't know how to receive love, but they want it desperately with every ounce of their being. But they don't know how to receive it. They think they're unworthy of it, and they run off and chase off everybody away. This is men and women. This is not gender specific. I've seen this the entirety of my 44 years under heaven of people doing this. People of all types and socioeconomic backgrounds. I'm talking about cultures and races and all. That if these people ain't been loved, man, they don't know how to receive love and they push it away. Because though they want it, they have allowed someone to convince them that they're not worthy of it. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see people behave the way they behave towards Yahuwah, man. A lot of these boys don't believe they worthy of the love of God, man. And I tell you this here, man, if God show you love, then you worthy of the love, because if you weren't worthy of it, he wouldn't show it to you. So don't let the adversary or a random nigga in the street tell you God don't love you or this, that. Don't listen to them people, man. Them niggas dumb. Man, let me tell you something, man. If the man, pay attention to the word. I want you to hear me clearly based off what I just said. Amen, people, of what I just said, right? If Yahuwah don't got no love for you, he don't show it. What love he showed Jezebel? What love he showed Ahab? What love he showed Jeroboam or Rehoboam or Asa? You know what I'm talking about? Or King Jose? What love did he show them? None. But the individuals who he wanted to show love to, he showed it to them. He showed it to David, didn't he? Showed it to Sam, showed it to Hannah. Let me say Hannah. Showed it to Samuel's mama. Showed it to Yasharal as a whole. Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friend. So what did it mean, man? If God did not want to love you, he don't show it. He will exclude you from the opportunity of receiving it. So when the love of God is made manifest, it's because that's what he wants you to have. And don't let a demon under earth, on the earth, from heaven, a raggedy nigga in the street, a funky hoe from round the corner convince you of anything different. So yeah, some people don't love kindness because it was never in their life, and they become bitter, they become resentful. You know what I'm saying? And you'd have to look at that, and with people like that, you got to have some level of compassion towards them. Now you may have to have compassion for them from a distance, meaning from a safe space that you don't get ensnared and enraptured in that type of deal. Because unfortunately, and I told you this many times over the years for those of y'all who've been around here for a long time, man. What's a lot of people out here, man, they ain't never had nobody love them, man. I ain't talking about no romantic love either, man. I ain't talking about no love from a man to a woman, man. I'm talking about, boy, there's a lot of people, boy, their parents ain't love them, man. They don't know what that look like. They siblings ain't love them. They family members ain't love them. They come from dysfunctional backgrounds and environments. I've seen people treated them like yesterday's trash and still be sad and mourn for these people. And I think a lot of that sadness and mourning came from the opportunity to get the love from this person that they always wanted. They can't get it now. The opportunity is gone. They have love for them because of a familial tie, which is understandable. You know what I'm saying? Because some people can't understand that. Well, if your people did you dirty, what you love them for? They bonded by DNA. That's why. They bonded by DNA. Absolutely. Joseph, let us say love builds up your brother's house. You say definitely understand them thoughts. He come through and show you how he love you. I used to compare my life to his love, but at an adult age, realizing people's wicked actions, they do not dictate his love because they ain't got nothing to do with him. You know what I'm saying? That's why I told you to pay attention to what people say and what people do. You'll know if God is in them or not. You know what I'm saying? Say Jimmy Carter built houses and everyone hated him. He definitely did. That's wild. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, all in seriousness though, man, you got to pay attention to that, man. Like, you may have came from a loving environment. Most people don't. Most people don't. I told you plenty of time, man, with some of the people when the first few years of the congregation rolling, when new people came around, they was like, why you hug and kiss them kids like that? That was foreign to them to see a man do that. What you mean? Damn, you can't love the baby? The children can't get no love? But they would just throw it. I say, because that's what my people did, man. My granddaddy hugged me, man, and kissed me, man. I wish I still had all our photographs. I can literally show you multiple pictures of my daddy hugging and kissing me, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. And when I say it's not a big deal, when that's how you around, you don't think that is abnormal. But when you're not around that, you think that's abnormal. But then you wonder, that's why the children stick to you, because you know why? Because they know you love them. And I'm talking about coming in the household where, yeah, my mama is tell you I love you. You know, my auntie said it, my pop said it, granddaddy said it, but it was something that didn't have to be screamed and said every day. Shalom, Brother Morgan, because they showed it. You know, some people want somebody to tell them they love them. They want that reassurance. You want the reassurance verbally, but behavior-wise, they showing you they don't give a damn about you. Versus having the reassurance that their behavior shows you that they love you. Because you listening for the words, but you ain't watching the actions. Nigga tell you love you, hit you in the head with a baby. How many women done got beaten? I ain't talking about none of y'all. You know what I'm saying specifically. But how many women done been beaten? This man telling her he love her. But he just punched her in the face. He just pushed her down some stairs. Baby, I'm sorry. You know I love you. No, the hell you don't. Because if you love me, you wouldn't have rolled me down these damn stairs. If you love me, you wouldn't have punched me in my eye. If you love me, you wouldn't have cursed at me. You wouldn't have called me out my name. You wouldn't have disrespected me. Nigga, you don't love me. That's what you have to realize. Bump them crocodile tears that nigga coming with and the fake humility and all. That nigga don't care about you. Man, love don't hurt nobody. Ain't that what they tell you, love is pain? Well, whoever told you that is a damn lie. Well, you better stop listening to these evil people. Say, children need that. I wish I had that growing up. Say, but at least I know I can give that to my children. And amen, definitely. And your nieces and your nephews and your godchildren. Say, reassurance and verbal communication of love was contingent upon if my adoptive parents were pleased with me or not. I was everything bad under the sun when they weren't. I became a people pleaser because of that, unlearned. Yeah, man, no, and I get it, right? Like I say, I don't come from that type of household where somebody had to always tell you they loved you. They showed it to you. So guess what that means? When they told you they loved you, you know they meant it because they had already been showing you that. So the words were reinforced with the action. So when you see Yahuwah saying, I'm going to draw you with love and kindness, and I love this people, it was reinforced by the action because he spilled his blood. He made himself lesser in order to make you greater, which was of no benefit to him. Yahushua didn't get no benefit from doing what he did. All he got back is what he already had. He did not profit or gain from that. He didn't gain anything. You gained. Because he said through your poverty, what, Sibby? You've been made rich. He said a ransom of a man's life is his riches. Him willing to ransom his life is what made him wealthy. It didn't make you wealthy, and you can't even fathom that a man giving his life is to service to others would make him rich. My God, today. He said, I know that to be true. When I was 16, when I thought the word to be true, reading of his sacrifice at that time, I'm like, that's love. This man did nothing wrong and still, indeed. Say love is pain, love is your battlefield. They are. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The only way love is pain is if you dying for somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because love ain't supposed to cause no pain. But if you did cause pain, your love for that person would cause you to want to rectify that to remove the pain. If you love them. Because when you love somebody, you don't willfully or intentionally or purposely cause them pain or have a desire to cause them pain, whether that is physically, whether that is mentally, whether that is spiritually, whether that is emotionally. Someone who can intentionally and deliberately cause you pain don't love you. Again, I'm not talking about accidentally, indirect, because sometimes you could do something that hurt your people. You ain't realize, oh damn, I shouldn't have said that, I should have did that. Let me rectify that. That happens. You're human. You know what I'm talking about? He said, offenses will come. You're human. But when you go out of your way to intentionally cause someone pain, you can't look that person in the face and tell them you love them. Because, nigga, you lying. Because you did it on purpose. You thought about it. You planned it. You acted on it. Come on, man. Let's get this out of here, Sylvia. It's 11 o'clock. Where we at with it?
Romans 9.
He said, I thought love was deep emotional feelings that led to doing things for others and not saying no. Music was my only teacher on it. Oh, yeah, I can understand that. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because, that experience is what led you to be able to make a discernment between what is love and what is not. You know what I'm saying? Look at, and I told many of the brothers this here, man, and I've said it on this camera. Never be upset about what you didn't know. You didn't know what you didn't know. But give thanks to the Almighty Elohim that he gave you a mind that when he showed, when information comes and whatever it might be, that what you held to be true is not true. But don't even say not true. Not the proper way to behave or the proper way to act or the proper way to think. Because I don't want to say everything is not true. Because if you thought that's how if you're only as good as the experiences and the instruction that you've given. You know what I'm saying? I told you this before, man, don't be mad at your people, man. Your people can only teach you from the basis of what they know. They can't give you what they didn't know. Your people human too. Your mama, your daddy, they human too. They not exempt from that. I know we like to look at our parents, this, that, there, and the third, but they human too. They can only teach you from their lived experiences and the knowledge that they have acquired. You know what I'm saying? You take the good with the bad, if you would. But once you realize that love is an intentional and a deliberate choice, you know what I'm saying? The feelings that you have as forth as love, that's something else. You know what I'm saying? That's another conversation for another day. But you choose with intention who you love. People say you can't help who you love. You lying to me. You lying to me. You sure can help it. I don't know how you just randomly love somebody. That's crazy. You know what I'm talking about? I can't help that I love them. So you just see somebody and be like, I love them. Now, usually that comes from people when they say that, honestly, they're saying that because they love how that person make them feel. So they're addicted to the dopamine rush and the high that they get from how this person makes them feel. And when you talk about actual love, that is deliberate and that is intentional. You know what I'm saying? Deliberate and intentional. If you're dealing with a woman, you say you love her, that means you intentionally seek to show her love. You intentionally and deliberately and specifically say that the love that I have in me, I will show it to them. I told you when I was young, I used to sit in school with the girls I grew up with, and they'd be like, I love this nigga. And I'd be like, well, baby, what you love about him? I just love him. I said, man, you dumb. I'm a teenager, and I know, but you know why? Because how I was raised. You can't even verbalize what you love about this person. You can't even verbalize the love that they're showing you. You love how he makes you feel. This is how young people get caught up having children at an early age or this, that, there, and the third, because they don't have that level of mental and spiritual astuteness to be able to understand what that looked like. You're going off of feelings. And we know that the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. So your emotions will lie to you. Which is how a lot of ladies end up in situations with dudes putting their hands on them. Then by the time they realize, oh, this nigga don't care about me, now they're in an untenable situation. Because of course, we can say this here, and of course, I would want you to be able to do it, which is dip. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we know in a lot of situations or circumstances, that's easier said than done. You know what I'm talking about? But nevertheless, come on, sis. Verse 26, Romans 9.
And it shall come to pass in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living Elohim.
Isaiah.
Also cry concerning Yasharal, though the number of the children of Yasharal be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved.
That's in Isaiah 10, by the way. Come on.
For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. And as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth had left us a seed, we have been as Sodom and have been.
And that's in Isaiah 1. That's good because we ain't got to go through all that because we read it in that Wednesday. So hallelujah for Yahushua and the word. I appreciate y'all time this evening. I bless y'all at the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Who are willing, we'll be back at it on tomorrow. Make it do what it do. I think we about good in Romans 9. I'll pick another letter. Maybe Philippians or Colossians or something. I don't know. And we'll rock out like that. But again, I bless y'all at the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yahuwah Baruch, that's bad. Shalom. So you know what I'm saying? Just keep rocking and rolling, pushing and grinding. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is and you know what it ain't. Shalom, Eric, man. You know what I'm saying? But just make sure you stay steadfast on the path. Don't let nobody push you off, man. And just know this here. If don't nobody else on the earth love you, know Yahuwah do. And you know how you know he do? Because if he ain't want you to get no wisdom and understanding, you wouldn't get it. Peace, man. Yes, sir. That's what people don't realize. That man lets you get some wisdom and understanding. Amen, man. Praise you indeed, Sister Regina. Peace, Brother Omar. He don't let you get it. He lets you stay dumb. He lets you stay dumb. Peace, 10K. You know what I'm saying? But no, it is what it is. So y'all willing till tomorrow. Love you too, bro. Hold it down, man. Amen. Peace and love, me. All right, y'all. We out of here. Out of here.